Then fix it.
Okay, and we are live, guys. This is the Irish Podcast, episode 28. Can't believe it, 28 already. Gaming has been slow as of late, news-wise and everything. And E3 is around the corner, so keep that in mind when we start hearing about less until E3 gets here. Then we're going to see more, okay? We'll see a lot more then, okay? I am the TitanFallPrincess, and I am your host, and this is the Irish Podcast. But enough about me. We're going to have the panel introduce themselves. We'll start out with Porter Rock.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Porter Rock 77. Glad to be here. It's another Friday. Great time to spend it with a great panel, and let's get this game going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Demetrius.
What's going on, everybody? This is am I faded or am I better now?
Slightly, but
you sound better.
Okay. I'm still remember I'm still at work, so I have to do the best I can with the speaking. So but hey everyone, this is Lord of Eclipse. Still at work, so I might not really be doing a whole lot, but just gonna have fun on this panel. So I'll be headed home in the next couple minutes, so I should be good.
Sounds good. Next up, we've got Rambo.
What's going on, guys? This is Rambo's Corner, and I'm just ready to get the thing started.
Sounds good. And next, finally, we got Craig Harris back. He's been missing in action sometimes. So introduce yourself, Craig.
That's Craig Harris from Craig's Corner. Just happy to be here.
That's it.
Yep. Top flight security of the world, Craig.
Yeah, ready to get it going.
Okay. Well, the first subject I have is a new Assassin's Creed has been revealed. Now, it will take place in, I think, Egypt. Now, to be honest, Assassin's Creed as a series for me, I fell off. It really did. I still to this day believe Assassin's Creed 2 was the best. 3 wasn't too bad. And 4 was the last good one. But nowadays, we have all these open worlds. And I feel like Assassin's Creed brought us a good open world at one time. It did. But it just been the same thing over and over and over again. Now, when this game is revealed with a trailer and more footage, because it wasn't, okay? We'll see something better or whatever than what it was. I mean, they come out with too many, and we know what happens when they do that. Now, are you guys hyped for it? Do you think that Assassin's Creed will do anything different than the past?
I'm gonna say. Go
ahead. Okay. Can I go first? Because I'm a huge Assassin's Creed person. Okay. I'm gonna say my piece, but I'm gonna keep it short. I'm a big Assassin's Creed person. And just like Nancy said, I do agree. The Ezio's trilogy of Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and what was the last one, Revelations? Assassin's Creed 2 is the best Assassin's Creed of all time. You can't argue with that one. I did enjoy Assassin's Creed 3. Kind of boring a little bit, but it was okay. The best one is Black Flag. As far as like the new Assassin's Creed, the best one is Black Flag. But as far as them doing something new with the Assassin's Creed, they're going to have to. Because all the Assassin's Creeds are the same. Like if you play Unity, Unity is no different than Syndicate. They're both the exact same game, so they felt the same. So, yeah, there were just minor differences. You're pretty much a British guy. In Syndicate, you're a British guy with a fucking Batman hook. So Batman grapple hook. So it was really not major difference. So this one here, they need to do something better with it. They need to, if I'm going to Egypt, they need to make it historical accurate. I need to see some pharaohs in there. They need to do a lot with it. They need to make it open world, make sure the people in the towns are very interactive, because in Syndicate, they were not interactive. The people in there were pretty stupid. They were like dead. They were like dead zombies. So hopefully they will do something better with that. Hopefully that it will be better for the community to enjoy the Assassin's Creed series again, because for the past couple of years, Assassin's Creed has been shit. So.
All right, so I'm gonna cause a little controversy here. I fucking hate Black Flag. I think it sucked ass. It didn't even feel like an Assassin's Creed game at all. Like one, the pirate, how the fuck did you all of a sudden become part of the fucking Assassin's Creed? How do you learn how to fight, all this shit? And most of the time I'm driving around, I'm in a fucking boat, going from island to island and shit. And it just didn't feel like an Assassin's Creed game. You know what I'm saying? To me, Assassin's Creed was like Assassin's Creed 2, you know, the Ezio. But once they started doing this boat shit, I think they lost the plot. They started focusing on shit that didn't need to be focused. I know in the beginning it was cool, you know, oh shit, you know, you shoot your cannons and you do ahoy mateys. And then they do all that little singing shit, but that shit got old quick, and it felt like I'm playing Sea of Thieves more than I am playing an Assassin's Creed game. I didn't play Syndicate because after I played 4, it pretty much threw me off with the franchise. Like I really didn't want to go back to the franchise because I was afraid that it was more of that shit. I didn't play Syndicate, so I don't know how that is, but it needs to go back to an actual Assassin's Creed without all this fluff and pirate and all this shit. It needs to be where you're actually in the cover of darkness, whatever, you know, you're doing the things to assassinate and not all this crazy shit. I just didn't like Black Flag at all. To me, it missed the point of being an Assassin's Creed game. I prefer it needs to go back, maybe evolve the gameplay, evolve the fighting mechanics, things like that, make the world more robust and stuff like that. But from what I'm hearing, you see, I guess there's like a leaked photo and you see like boats and shit like that. So they might do the Black Flag. If I hear Egypt is doing that whole boat shit again and naval combat, I'm not fucking with that game. I'm not messing with naval combat.
Porter Rock. Yo, Porter Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta think about it. They probably will do it because you know it's in Egypt and close by the Nile River and all this stuff. So you got to remember. From my understanding, I don't know how the story plot is going to be, but apparently you play as a slave or some shit. I don't know. Maybe that's not 100%, but you gotta. It's more than one of those things where you're gonna be on the boat. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. I mean, even in Assassin's Creed Revelations started that. You were on the boat on Revelations, then you was on the boat on Assassin's Creed 3. You did it in Black Flag. They took it away in Unity and Syndicate, I think. But I mean, Black Flag was a good game. It didn't bother me. I thought it was fun. And the whole thing, because when you had said you didn't like the fact is that Edward Kenway, that's his name in Black Flag, you didn't like the fact is that it made no sense how he became an assassin. Where you got to remember he's a pirate, so he's learned how to fight. Edward Kenway is not a real assassin. He's not even an assassin. He's not even part of the Brotherhood. So he was never destined to be an assassin. He only picked those robes up because it was pretty much he killed someone and just picked them up. He read some thieves' note and he just picked it up and put the robes on. If you play the story of Black Flag, a lot of those natives, and when certain places like you have to go to and you had to do certain missions with the actual Brotherhood, they didn't accept Edward Kenway because he was never a true assassin. And he never wanted to be an assassin. That's not what he wanted to be. You know what I'm saying?
I know the story, but I'm talking about the gameplay. From my perspective as the user, right? Like Assassin's Creed, when the franchise first started, you're a guy in the shadows assassinating people, and whenever you got discovered, the game became harder. You had to go back into the shadows. It went from that to now owning a ship doing naval combat. Don't see how that fits in the whole assassins. Assassins don't cause a whole naval combat and blow up boats and stuff like that. It's just the concept doesn't make sense. If you're an assassin, you're alone, you fight, and then you're doing things like that. And I didn't like that. I'm like, all right, I'm in a boat, I have a crew, I'm blowing up cannons, then I go on one island to another. It didn't even feel like an Assassin's Creed game. It was just, I didn't even care like from the assassin part. I just ran up to people, kill people with no fear of whether I got caught or whatever, because it didn't matter. The whole aura and myth of it just got ruined for me. I wanted to be a silent shadow guy.
Yeah, like I understand. Oh, sorry, Rambo. Go ahead.
No, I have to agree with Porter Rock here. I mean, I enjoyed like 4 for what it was. I mean, to me, it wasn't an Assassin's Creed game. It was basically just an open world sea adventure. But I'm a big Assassin's Creed fan. I mean, like I played every single one of them, have every single one of them, and I'm definitely hyped for this one. I'll be pre-ordering whatever the biggest package that they have. Looking for the collector's edition to see if they do have a statue with this one. However, I mean, like I think they will do something different. I think they'll go back to. I'm hoping they'll go back to the Unity's online mode, because that co-op mode was like refreshing from the online mode in 4 and the previous ones. I love the co-op portion of it. And I really liked Unity and Syndicate. I thought those were two actually really good Assassin's Creed coming from 4. I actually enjoyed playing, you know, going back and forth playing between the girl and the guy, Assassin and Syndicate, and then in Unity, I just, like I said, I enjoyed that co-op portion of it, and so I'm looking forward to this one. I love the Egypt time frame. I always love to see what they do with it because they always seem to nail the scenery just perfect. So
yeah, I agree.
I never liked the story to Syndicate though. I just couldn't stand the damn story to it. It was boring as hell. Like I just couldn't get into Syndicate's story. I didn't like Jacob or Evie. I didn't like none of the.
I mean, I platinum that thing. That thing was fun as hell, man.
I'm still playing on the X1. I'm still going through it, and I beat Black Flag years ago, and I'm still trying to beat Unity on PS4, but I'm trying to beat them all. Unity and Syndicate. Unity I'm almost done with. I have more enjoyment playing Unity because I love the multiplayer and I love the customizations on Unity is way better than Syndicate. I'm sorry, I'm about to say Black Flag, but Syndicate, I can't stand the story. I don't like Evie. I don't like Jacob. They're just corny ass assassins, and I just don't like it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never got into their characters. They always refer back to their father or whoever the fuck it is, and they never reference like who the fuck is their father is. Like, who is he? You know, and that's what kills me at the Assassin's Creed story. Like after 3, like Desmond after he died in Assassin's Creed 3, I don't you know who is related to these assassins. I don't think it has.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing is that I think that they're foretelling, and I think or foreshadowing. I think they're like trying to tell a little bit of a story, and then they're gonna. I think this next one might include, you know, like combine some of them together and start telling more of the story that we were missing. I kind of like because I mean they were going from like the beginning, you know, and then progressing through the assassin's life, but this one seems like they're bouncing around like to tell the whole story throughout like an entire you know, different area, just kind of like this person in this area, this person in this area. But then if you played both games, you'll see how they intersect with each other, you know.
I always thought Black Flag.
I got a quick question real quick before you guys continue.
Right.
Did anybody get the Assassin's Creed 2 remastered? What'd you think about it if you did?
I didn't get that game, but I still have Assassin's Creed.
Oh, the Ezio collection?
Yeah, the Ezio collection.
Yeah, I got that.
Remastered.
Yeah, I've platinumed the Assassin's Creed 2 on PS4, and I'm working on Assassin's Creed Brotherhood right now.
Oh, okay.
Assassin's Creed 2 was easy to fuck to platinum.
You're going around like catching all them stupid feathers, man.
Yeah. Well, what I did years ago, I YouTubed that shit to figure out whatever feather location. That's how I platinum. Well, I didn't platinum it. I think I'm at like 91% when I did it on PS3 years ago when it came out, like 2009 or some shit. I was like I was like a sophomore in high school when that game came out.
I was gonna say, yeah, I'm excited about it. I wish they went to Sumar. They didn't. I'll take Egypt. It is in the motherland. I've beaten all the Assassin's Creeds. I enjoyed Syndicate because it gave you the ability. If you used her, you had to be sneaky. She could not overpower. I think Evie or Eva. She couldn't overpower people. So you had to use different stealth approaches with her versus him. He was like a brute. He could take on a bunch of people. Right. I think overall the series did get off track. I disagree with your Porter Rock. I like the whole boating.
That was fun to me.
It was just a break from the action, and Eclipse is right. Edward Kenway was never accepted into the Brotherhood. He had the eagle vision and stuff like that, but he never understood how he was able to do what he was doing. So, right. But I understand what you're saying as far as the timeline going jumpy. But the game is going to be much better than that movie because that movie was flat out garbage.
Well, no, the movie wasn't really flat out garbage. I mean, if you look at it, look at the movie kind of like you did Assassin's Creed 1. Assassin's Creed 1, you were in and out of that damn Animus so many damn times. You kind of took you out of the story. Okay. And then Assassin's Creed 2, you spent more time in the Animus and you spent more time with the thing. So I think they're really just going along the storyline of the actual games.
Okay.
In a way. So I think the next one's going to be better.
That's true.
All right, Rambo. They spray painted Michael Fassbender to make him look tan. That's garbage.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I was talking about the storyline. I mean, because it seemed I was like, I mean, it wasn't the greatest thing, but I kind of went into it thinking that it was going to be just like Assassin's Creed 1. and that's kind of exactly
okay.
what it was. I mean, it was in and out of the anime so much.
No,
it wasn't. No.
You know.
No,
All right, but I see what you're saying. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Right, but yeah, like if you're a major fan of Assassin's Creed, you would care about the story. But I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. Me and one of my best friends, we were like fanboys of the series. My friend has a tattoo of the assassin symbol on his chest, and I was thinking about getting one as well. And I even have some of the comics of the Assassin's Creed stuff. So I'm more of a major fan of the Assassin's Creed series. I study all the shit and try to figure out what is really going on in the story. But to me, like the problem I have with Assassin's Creed is after Black Flag, after Assassin's Creed 3, that's when the Assassin's Creed the story started making no sense. You know, like at first I was like, okay, Assassin's Creed 4 is a prequel from Assassin's Creed 3 because Edward Kenway is the grandfather of Connor Kenway, whatever, the Indian guy from Assassin's Creed 3. And Connor is the son of the other guy. I forgot his name. He's a Kenway too, and he joined the Templars and shit. So I was like, okay, why didn't they just make Black Flag Assassin's Creed 3 and then make, that's what I was thinking. Like that made more sense because what if a person may not understand the actual timeline? They're like, okay, why is this a prequel, and why is 4 after 3? And technically, if you want to be, use technology, if you want to be technical with it, Assassin's Creed 4 is the prequel, and Assassin's Creed 3 is the one later on. And I never understood.
You know what's the problem? The problem is they probably didn't have a plan to end the franchise. They probably trying to milk it. And now they're just rewriting scripts as they go along. It's kind of like freaking the Batman Dark Knight movie, You're a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. They should have planned to end the series. Do your 3, 4, 5, and just finish it. Not just milk it 8, 9 episodes. And I think that's one thing I have to give respect to Naughty Dog. They probably understand this concept, which is why they're not gonna continue with the Uncharted franchise. Because at a certain point, you're just making up shit. And it's not going to make sense because how much story are you going to make? You know what I mean? Right. I think that's where they're at with Assassin's Creed. They don't know what to do next, so they're just going along, but they don't have an ending to this franchise. You got to start out with an ending. Every story has to have an ending.
I honestly think they do now. I think this might be the ending of it because of the fact that there's the success of their other franchise, their other new franchises.
They're not done with it. They're not done with it because they're gonna.
And in order to end, it has to be futuristic because that's really the whole point. Something's happening in the front.
Guys, I just need to let Demetrius know you're starting to fade out real bad. You were sounding good, but now you're fading out real bad.
Okay. Sorry, the Wi-Fi here at my.
Well, I think we will see like an ending to it very soon because of the fact that Wildlands and Division and then also Rainbow Six Siege is getting. Played a lot. I mean, I know Wildlands is having its problems, but Division did too, and now you can still go into Division and still get people to play with you. I mean, there's still a ton of people there, so I mean, I think that Wildlands will end up being the same way because the Wildlands is actually a fun game. It's just that I think that they just got to work on some things like they did with Division and get it back where people want to play.
From what I'm told, Wildlands should have been an expansion pack for Division.
Do what?
That Wildlands should have been an expansion pack for Division.
Kind of, yeah. But I mean, the Wildlands is actually. I mean, it's a pretty fun game, though. I mean, it's like a different looking thing than Division. So I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like it probably would be just about as big of an expansion, but I mean, the premise of Wildlands is actually pretty cool. I just hope that they get the thing working better than what it is and get the glitches fixed. But I think that now that they're starting to branch out to these new IPs, I think you're going to start seeing like their Assassin's Creed go away, and Watch Dogs take its place because that's really
Watch Dogs. Fuck no, dude! Like Watch Dogs
is actually pretty damn good, man. I mean, the first
one was okay.
Okay, well, let's see what. Okay. But here's what happened. The first one they received a ton of criticism for, and so what they did is they went and they tried to fix it. In the second one, but they overcorrected. And so now that they're going to get the criticism in that, I still think that Watch Dogs 3 is going to be one hell of a game because it's going to be kind of right in the middle of the two.
Me myself
So
personally,
I
Ubisoft to me, Ubisoft reminds me of Activision. They just milk everything, and then every time they make a game, it's trash, just like COD. But hopefully, the new COD will be good. But Ubisoft is like this: they make all these fucking games here, and they always make them watered down. They lie on the fucking trailers. The game is supposed to look uber realistic, and then when you get the fucking game, the game is like super damn ashy. Like so, look at Unity. Unity was supposed to look very realistic. At the time when they broadcast Unity, that first time in E3, the game was supposed to look extremely realistic. It was supposed to take a power of the next gen, whatever. And then when you actually played it, it didn't look that realistic. It looked good, but it didn't look good as the trailer. They did the exact same thing with Rainbow Six Siege. They did the exact same thing as the Division, and a lot of people were pissed off how ashy Division looked. And Watch Dogs were what I think was the very first one that was supposed to look extremely realistic, extremely next gen, everything. But then when it came out, it looks like it was very ashy. Everything was ashy on the game. It looked faded. The colors looked faded. The game did not look realistic. It looked like some game from 2007 or some shit. Well,
no,
2000.
I wouldn't go that damn far, man.
Yeah, it was pretty shit. Like
It was.
the
I
graphics
mean,
were very
it
shit.
didn't look. It
GTA
didn't look like
5 on
the.
PS3 looked way better than that.
It didn't look like the
Watch Dogs.
trailer. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm dead serious. GTA 5 on PS3.
No, I mean, I've played both of those, and I actually was stood in line and waited for the collector's edition for Watch Dogs. So I mean, I played Watch Dogs day one, and I mean, it didn't, like I said, it didn't look like the trailer, but the character models looked so much more realistic than GTA 5 character models.
Guys, I got a question because we're talking about developers and everything. Besides Assassin's Creed, okay. How many people here? I mean, I'm adding this in because I just thought about it. How many people would like to see a Prince of Persia come back?
I would most definitely. That's what started Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Well,
but
Prince of Persia. I mean, it's a platformer. So I mean, in a sense. So I mean, yeah. I mean, I would like to see it because we're missing a lot of the platforming aspects of games. So I would like to see that come back for that reason. But they would have it'd be nice to see what they would be able to do with it in today's engines and stuff. So
True.
yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I would think that'd be good. I think that'd be good. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, the topic. Now, Porter Rock actually told me about this, and I wasn't aware of it, so I wanted to bring it up. So kudos to Porter Rock for being more on some topics than I am, and I'm surprised I didn't know about this because I'm a Hitman I like Hitman. So, but he was telling me about Square Enix got rid of Hitman developer IO Interactive. Now, the good news is that the season 2 of the new Hitman game is still planned for release. Now, one thing I will say though is that Hitman game, in my opinion, is not as good as the older ones. Now, that's just my opinion. We're here to agree to disagree. That's just my opinion, okay? Because I like Hitman, and I know it also didn't do well in sales. That I do know. It didn't do well in sales, okay, with the new one. So where does this put the Hitman series with Square Enix developers up for sale? What is your guys' thoughts?
Wait. Like Hitman is going to be no more, or what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, I mean, Hitman's. I mean, because the people who make Hitman are kind of they've been released from Square Enix.
Well, let me buy Hitman. Shit, I'll make that bitch just as good as Blood Money. That was the last good Hitman game, anyways. Let me buy the title Hitman and make that bitch better and make it good as Blood Money. That's like,
I don't know that I like this new Hitman. I like the new way of the.
Isn't the new one episodic?
Well, not if you buy it now. But you're correct,
when it was released.
It was episodic. It was episodic, yeah, but it actually worked as an episodic game. It actually really worked as one.
But why did
apparently not?
Though? Why did
apparently not?
Yeah,
it did.
No, it did. Yeah, I'm about to say no, it didn't.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying that it worked as far as sales wise. It worked as far as the game. The way the game.
Guys, we just do one thing. Demetrius wanted to say something. We just got to listen. His mic ain't that good. He's at work, so if we could try and just
right. Well,
let him jump in once in a while.
Sorry about that. Like once I get home, I'll be home back another 30 minutes. So once I get home, I'll be able to get on my laptop and get on my headset, and you guys will be able to hear me way better than my cell phone. But no, what I was saying was why did they release it episodically anyways? Because I played the beta to it on the PS4, and I thought it was pretty good. Still didn't remind me of Blood Money. It reminded me so much of Absolution or whatever it was called, that shitty Hitman game that came out a couple years ago. It was so much like it. It was weird. But why did they release it episodically? What, Square Enix can afford to fucking release?
Oh, well, here's the thing. They probably attempted if you Phil Spencer, during that interview or whatever, talking about that maybe they'll try to do single player games in in episodic fashion over Game Pass. Well, heed your warning. It's failing. There's only certain games that could get away with that episodic stuff. And to me, so far, the only ones I know that has done it consistently successfully has been Telltale games. They're the only ones I've seen that could get away with that.
Like Walking Dead games, right?
Yeah, The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
Wolf Among Us, Batman. I can't think of that many developers that have consistently been ultimately successful with episodic games. Because here's the thing, especially with a game like Hitman that started out as a full game, whether going back to the first day it came out to now becoming episodic, that doesn't feel right. I don't want to wait to finish Hitman. I want the game, I want to play it and finish it and then move on. I don't want to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks for this type of game when it was never about that life.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the reason why it was episodic is because Square Enix is hurting for money.
Did they do well with Final Fantasy 15? So why the fuck they need money for it?
The Final Fantasy 15 was after the fact of released after Hitman started to release.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons why there. But then also they still didn't. I mean, they did well, but I mean they were already hurting. So I mean, it's not like that Final Fantasy 15 was enough to bring them back to dead even.
They should have never did a year release for that fucking Tomb Raider.
The reason why, that's another reason why that, because they were going to have to release Tomb Raider as an episodic form, kind of like the Hitman one, and Microsoft stepped in and saved that from actually happening.
I'm gonna tell you what hurt Square Enix. I think what really put them in a bad position. I mean, it's not like they're gonna go away or anything. But was that Tomb Raider deal with Xbox One, leaving on that console?
They were already hurting before that. That's the reason why. That's the reason why Tomb Raider. That's the reason why Tomb Raider hindered that. But they should have done it with Sony instead of Xbox.
They should have done it. They should not have done it at all. Number one,
no,
because
they had to.
Who?
They had to. They were going to release Tomb Raider episodic, and Microsoft stepped in and said, "Look, we'll actually pay for the game." And you can put it on our platform for a year, and that's what. Then they took that money that they made there, and then made the game for PS or for the PS4 copy. But they were actually going to be releasing it episodically.
Are they getting broke or something? What is wrong with them?
I don't know, because they recently got the Marvel deal, so they're going to be releasing a bunch of.
They be all there talking about Sony's broke, nigga. What the fuck is wrong with Square Enix?
Square Enix is actually hurting for money right now. I think this is maybe part of their thing, is like maybe IO Interactive, that broke studio, maybe that was actually hurting them, being part of it, and they're just kind of shedding dead weight. But I mean, now Hitman, like the releasing episodically, it worked if you didn't look at it as a whole old Hitman fan. And I never really played the older Hitman, so whenever I actually played it, it was kind of just like it felt like more just like it felt more like a free to play, but I knew it wasn't, because obviously I paid for it. But you could go in there and you could you get the contracts, you go in there and kill the people or whatever. You can play it different ways to get different things out of it. And then you would get these real life targets, added to the thing that weren't really part of the thing, but it was actually just, it kind of kept the game going until the next episode could come out. And I think it worked, but I mean, obviously it didn't sales wise. But I think that the reason why it didn't sales wise is exactly the reason why, like Porter Rock said, is that too many of the Hitman fans are so used to that being a full game. Whenever they heard it was episodic, they were like, "Screw you."
Yeah, I was one of those people.
So
I'm the same way.
Shit. I think that's the reason why that it failed, is because it wasn't really so much because it didn't work, is that too many people just looked at it and said, "Screw you, I'm not doing it by episodes."
But I'm asking, besides Telltale Games, how many other developers you've seen have been successful with this model?
None of them actually. But I mean, the thing is though is that you gotta look at it. Telltale started out with episodic games.
Yeah, but
so everybody. So like, I think this would have been fine if Hitman would have started out as an episodic game. Guess what? Nobody would have ever thought differently. They would have just bought it because.
No, but here's the thing. What you call it? You're saying functionally it works, but here's the thing. Again, what other publisher and I'm sure there's other publishers that done this episodic shit, have been successful at it? They haven't.
Well, I mean, honestly, I can't. Honestly.
know what I'm saying?
Survey. Who here owns the Hitman, or any of their games or the
I
series?
do. I own
Okay.
I own the Hitman.
Because
I own
to me,
Hitman on
Hitman.
PS4 and the PC.
See, to me, after Blood Money, like Hitman became trash. Like after that
Okay.
Absolution, where the fuck it was that came out like a couple years ago, I played that fucking Hitman game, and then I played the beta to the newest one. I thought it was bad. Even the part where you're on the fucking boat part in the beta, and you have to like assassinate that fucking Cuban Mexican guy or whatever the fuck he was on that boat. I thought it was trash. I was like, you know what, fuck that. Blood Money is still the best Hitman game. That's just my opinion.
But Porter Rock, going back to like what you said, I mean, about any developer out there, but like, there's no developer out there right now that actually does episodic games besides Telltale. But the thing, like, the reason why I say that, you got to kind of look at it a different way, because, like, say, I mean, Activision could do one and it would work. You know, EA, Square Enix, you know, any of these developers could do it and it work. The thing is, though, is that they have to do it with a brand new IP. They can't do it with a known IP that's always been a full game.
I don't think it's just with any new IP. I think here's the thing. The reason why I think Telltale's able to pull it, because they make games that are more very story centric. It's almost like watching a TV show that you interact with.
Well, yeah, but I mean, hold
up. When the thing ends, it's kind of like watching a show like the Arrow, Flash, and people accept that. But if you make, like, let's say, like God of War episodic, it ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work.
No, just like I said, you can't take an existing any existing IP and turn it episodic, but then you also can't take any type of existing IP we have now.
Let's make a brand new hack.
What I'm saying. Okay, wait, what I'm saying though is you can't take any style of game we have now that's out there right now and turn it episodic and make it work, because of the fact that, like, say God of War, like a game like God of War, it's not going to work in episodes. I mean, that's just those type of games won't. So the only type of episodic games that'll work is a very heavy story driven games, like Telltale games. So that's the only games that will actually work in a sort of episodic feeling, because it's kind of like you said, a TV show type feeling. You get an episode, and you wait until the next couple of months, and then you get another one, and then you just keep playing it, which is cool. But it's like to take. I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like any game, like say if you take a Call of Duty or especially you can't do any online game, but we're just gonna say like I think Quantum Break would have worked good in an episodic game.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is that Hitman's been out since 2000. So it was a bad idea. I think that's what Porter Rock's saying. Is it was just a bad.
It was it was a bad idea, because I mean there was too many people that looked at it as from a Hitman standpoint. Like they looked at it from like I'm so used to getting the full game for my $60 out up front. I'm not doing episodes. So yeah, I mean it was a bad idea in that sense. Yes, for sure. Yeah. And I think that Hitman actually could be an episodic game, the way they did it. Like if you actually get to play it and actually get to see the way they did it and stuff like that, how they were doing it throughout the episodes, it didn't feel like that you were playing, like you were like missing out on anything. But I understand what Porter Rock's saying, because I mean like if you're a Hitman fan, that's never going to work for you. Like if you played the previous games, this one's never going to work for you, because until you got the full game released all at once. But the way they did the episodes, it was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I just think like it's like you, and you already mentioned it. It has to be a story-based game, which means 90% of the games, this model is not going to work. No one's going to play a first-person shooter with a story like a Call of Duty single player or Battlefield single player or Deus Ex, or new, Darksiders 3.
Oh yeah, none of those could be episodes.
None of those games will work. It just won't.
No, because I mean, there's no cutoff. There's like even playing through any of those style of games, there's no cutoff points to where you could go, okay, here's where one episode could be. There's really no cutoff points at all. So I mean, it's like those type of games. The story has to stay continuous until the end, or otherwise you'll lose half like the meaning of it. So yeah, those games like that, those just regular story games, you'll never see those as. I mean, I don't think you'll ever see those succeed as episodic.
I'm going to go back to the Hitman thing, okay, because I just want to add another 2 cents that I had, is that the reason I didn't like the new one, I'm not saying it was the worst, but, and it was that horrible, but one thing I did not like about it is the fact that, you know, they tried to like not let you kill people. They gave you your freedom, but yet they didn't about it. Not like the old Hitman, you could do, you know, the older ones where you could do what you want and just whatever. Here they tried to make it where you had to like, oh, you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, you couldn't do this, you couldn't, oh, but you can do this. And if you do this, you know, you failed. I mean, they left it, they didn't leave it open like some of the other ones. And
yeah,
that's what I didn't like about it.
That was kind of frustrating with it. I mean, they had a predetermined, you have different settings, like you could do different, like I guess do the missions in like probably 3 or 4, maybe even 5 different ways. But like each way that you did it actually has a predetermined way to do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they had it, like if you if you varied off of that track, you failed the mission because you did not do it the way that the story was planned to. So that was one thing that was really, I didn't like about it, because it was, you kind of had the feeling of an open world, even though it was kind of like a small world.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's
you didn't
about it.
Yeah, but you didn't actually have the freedom that an open world game has. I mean, it was a very strict storyline that you had to follow down, depending on which path you took to get the actual, the goal, to get the end goal.
Right.
Which I didn't like that at all about it. But I mean, it was okay. I mean, it wasn't. I think these developers are, the problem is with these games, the reason why they're having to do these in episodes like this is because like Hitman looked really damn good, and I think that they're focusing too much effort into trying to make shit look so damn realistic that they're dumping all their money into that. Yeah, they're dumping all their money into that, and then whenever they start to look at the rest of the budget, that's where like that they don't really have enough left over for the gameplay or whatever. And so I think that's really where the problem lies in a lot of these games, and the reason why that people are talking about games going not episodic is because everybody's trying to do like the most realistic looking game rather than actually just a damn good looking game with damn good gameplay.
I was just about to say that. I don't mind it looking realistic, but if it's going to mess with the gameplay and your functions and how you play in the open world, and you can just go from one point to the next, just give me just good graphics. Forget about the realistic shit. Give me the gameplay. That's what give me decent looking graphics and give me the really good gameplay. And I'm good with that. I don't need the shit looking almost like mirror.
Sorry about that. I had a customer, so she was complaining about a damn cell phone. But I don't need the shit. Discussion?
I don't need the shit looking like realistic. And Onyx Darkseid, I don't know. Somebody said something that doing it with Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, is that you that said that?
Yeah, I was asking you a question. I was saying what was the little discussion right there, because customer.
We were talking about
all I said about when we were talking about the Hitman series, where the one thing, and we both agreed about is that they didn't make it like the old ones, where the new one, they make it like the old ones. It was more like they had it predetermined because they were making the game look so realistic that they took the budget away from the actual gameplay. And it wasn't like the other ones, like you kill certain people, you had to do this, you had to do that. And if you didn't do it the way they predetermined whatever route you took, you failed the mission. Like that before.
Yeah, and the older Hitman's like Blood Money wasn't like that. Like if you
it wasn't like, and that's what I didn't like about it. And that's what he was agreeing, and that's Rambo was agreeing with me. That was one thing that was very frustrating about the new one of what they did. And we were saying how we don't mind you giving us realistic graphics, but we can do away with that if you just give us good graphics and real good gameplay. Don't hinder the gameplay by giving us realistic facial features and all that other shit. Don't hinder our gameplay for that. Don't put all the money into the budget for that and forget about the gameplay, because that's why we all buy games, is for the gameplay.
Yeah, and I wanted to address something in the chat. Onyx Darkseid, I know who that is, but I don't, for some reason I don't know. I can't think of it for the life of me. But they were talking about Final Fantasy VII, and that it's going to be like episodic. But it's not really going to be episodic. It's just going to be multiple discs, and they're going like Final Fantasy VII, and it's not going to be episodic like say like the Hitman was, but it's going to be episodic in as far as like you're going to get a one disc released, and then later on you'll get the second portion, and then the however many portions they end up doing it. But the reason why they're doing it that way is because that game was already 3 discs. And so it's a remaster. Whenever they remastered one of the, I forgot which Final Fantasy they remastered before, but it actually almost filled the 8 gigabyte file that was on the DVD almost filled up the entire 50 gigabytes on the Blu-ray whenever they did it to the PS4. So whenever they're doing this and they're doing 3 discs, then one Blu-ray disc isn't going to hold that whole game, because they're actually not only remastering every last thing from the ground up, but they're actually adding in areas where they just simply did not have enough bandwidth in those DVDs, excuse me, those CDs or DVDs, to be able to actually open up some of the other areas in the game. So they're actually adding things to the game. So the game is going to be a massive log file. Now, I mean, I guess they could do like Master Chief Collection and Uncharted 4 did, where you did one 50 gigabyte disc and then download the rest. But I mean, that would be one hell of a download. And
the interview with Square Enix, one of the developers, he explained it. They're doing kind of what they did with the Lightning trilogy. It's pretty much, it's going to be the story broken down into 3 parts. So it's going to be 3 separate games.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, but basically it's because of the game being like so daggum huge.
Yeah,
that game was already big anyway, and so to remaster it, to bring it up to current standards, it would take multiple Blu-ray discs.
Well, it's a full-on remake. It's a full-on everything
from the ground up, and they're actually adding things to it too. So I mean, it's going to be almost like a completely new game.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next subject. All right. Okay, now, I'm actually only going to give my 2 cents. I'm probably give my 5 cents, which is like talk to the hand when I say what I got to say, but that's the way it's going to work. And this topic don't surprise me. The Nielsen survey shows more gamers are interested in buying the PS4 Pro over Xbox Scorpio. I ain't going to add 2 cents. I'm going to have 5 cents, and then leave the topic open so we all can, you guys can just take it from there. Basically, when you talk about a console for 2 years over and over again, but your primary focus isn't about games, it's about hardware. This is the end result. That's why people are doing what they're doing. This gen began with PlayStation, first of all, being cheaper, and you're getting a lot more for less. When Tokyo Game Show and E3 comes around, it's PS4 time. Let's just call it like it is. And more people are seeing this just based off of the drought you got over there on the Xbox. And you all know, whoever owns an Xbox, you all know I ain't lying, okay? Even if the Scorpio is the most powerful console, even if it is, the lineup for it at this point just isn't there. Especially when you keep in mind that we still have God of War 4, Gran Turismo, Spider-Man, Detroit, all these other games on the way. And of course you have, let's not forget, coming out, The Last of Us 2. Hardware is hardware, okay? But software is software. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, you got to take those Nielsen ratings. I think it's probably correct in a sense, but I think you got to take those Nielsen ratings you got to really look at their numbers, because the last time they did one where it showed like the more people preferred digital or whatever, I forgot which one that was that they did, but they only like at their sample size was 4,000 gamers.
Okay, so, but my thing is that I kind of agree with what they're saying.
Oh no, yeah, I agree with what they're saying.
That's the only reason why I brought this topic. That's why I brought this topic up. That's the only reason why, because I agree with what they're saying. But go ahead.
I think that I agree with you as well on what you said. I think that whenever as a gamer, I mean that was one of the big things that really, like, once I bought my Titanfall Xbox One, I was so happy, and I was like, I finally got both the platforms. I'm going to be able to play all the games. And then, like, shortly after I did that, like, Phil started talking about games going to PC and talking about Windows 10 this and Windows 10 that and all these different things. And I'm like going, why did I just buy this thing? Like, I just bought this thing for all this exclusives, and now they're like, he's telling me basically we're really not focusing on that anymore. and I kind of felt gypped, and I didn't really from that point forward. I mean, I played the games, but I didn't really feel like that. It was a must own type of thing. Like I felt like I could get rid of it at any point and be perfectly fine. Which I did after they canceled Scale Down. I got rid of it. I got me another one back to play some other games. You know, that platform that just came out, Voodoo Vince. But it was the same. It's the same thing. Like they kept focusing on, you know, like games going to PC, and then they went from that to, you know, games going on, you know, the not really games talk, but it was always this. I'm going to invest in first party. That was like the first thing that he said whenever he first took over. But then the only thing that's ever actually happened with first party is like things getting cut, and that didn't make me feel good. And then all of a sudden, like they switched focus from that to talk about nothing besides hardware. Like it was Xbox One S, and then it was now it's Scorpio for the past 2 years, and it puts it as a gamer. Whenever you hear that, you don't hear anything like any of these new games being talked about. You don't hear any new games, you know, possibly being leaked or anything like that. You don't hear anything about games. All you hear about is Scorpio this, Scorpio that, 4K 60. I mean, it's just nothing besides hardware. And a gamer, I've been a gamer all my life, like well over 30 years, and I've never once cared about like how much power was in my box. It was always about what game I put in my box. And as a gamer, I think that like most people are responding to that. They're seeing and hearing more and more people just talk about hardware than they are games, and that pushes gamers away. Now it pushes the tech savvy people over in that area, which is cool. But I mean, it pushes the core gamer kind of away from that. I agree with you on that. So I think the survey is actually probably like pretty accurate, but I think that they probably took a small sample size, which is kind of hard to like judge for the whole gaming industry. But I think that it's actually pretty much, like you said, probably a pretty accurate type of setting around here.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Sony's brand is more known around the world. I do agree with the software. Sony has more software out on market. They've got more units out on market, and they got more recognizable software. Everybody knows about Spider-Man. You may not know about anything else, but everybody knows about Spider-Man. And when they hear there's a game coming out, then that's where they're going to go to. I agree. The power thing is way overblown. It's hard to talk about games when your competitor has every single marketing deal. I mean, what are you going to say? So, I mean, I saw the Call of Duty trailer that was on the PlayStation, the Star Wars trailer, PlayStation. So the Nielsen score survey does not shock me at all. And that thing's fairly accurate. I hope Microsoft comes out and does everything they need to do. But at this point, I expect Sony to roll them the rest of this year as well.
Yeah. I'll say this. Here's the thing with that Nielsen survey is two parts. The survey did address that some gamers were more interested in the Pro than in the Scorpio, and it was a real low percentage. But that was only a fraction of those that even knew what a Scorpio and a Pro even was. So that in itself is an actually low number. So the sales of the Pro and the Scorpio is going to be not really significant in the grand scheme of things. They're not going to light up the charts come November, December. You know, what's going to light up the charts is pretty much the cheaper consoles, the cheaper ones, which is the Slim and Xbox, both Slim models, the PS4 Slim and the Xbox One Slim. But now this is where PlayStation has an advantage over the Xbox One Slim, because on the PlayStation side, from the community, YouTubers, gamers, we haven't put that much focus on the Pro. It's either or. Now, if you talk about the Pro, PlayStation gamers that have it, they like it, they enjoy it, but they haven't dismissed the Slim. Everybody still enjoys the Slim. Everybody says, yeah, you could go to Slim, you can enjoy these games. It's an ecosystem. Yeah. But if you listen to the Xbox community and their YouTube, all they talk about is the Scorpio. They don't address the Slim at all, as if it's not even existed. There was posts I made on Twitter saying, yeah, this fall, I'm going to get an Xbox One S. Hopefully it's $200. I get replies, nah, don't get that shit. Get the Scorpio. That's the future. Now, me as a gamer, I consider myself a core gamer. I'm knowledgeable. I know what they're talking about, but I'm smart enough to know that all the games are going to be still on the Xbox One S. I'm not going to invest $500 on a second-hand system. But what if I was a casual gamer, right? And I was planning to get an Xbox One S, but I only have $300, and somebody tells me the Xbox One S ain't worth it, get a Scorpio, but I don't have the money for a Scorpio. What do I do? Do I go for Xbox One S, or do I say, well, these guys are saying it's not worth it? Fuck it, I'll get a PlayStation 4, because when I see that community, they're still hyped about it. They're still talking about games. They're talking about all the things they're playing. Hell, some of them say you don't even need a Pro. You could be happy and satisfied with a Slim.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You see
of
what
them,
I'm saying?
yeah, there's a lot of them that actually will tell you. Like when I've seen people talk about, like, I'm thinking about getting a PS4. You know, which one should I get? And people are. I mean, there's actually a lot of. They actually ask them about their whole TV setup, and they're like, yeah, well, just get a PS4 Slim. There ain't no point in getting the Pro then. If you don't have a 4K TV, just get a Slim. You'll be perfectly fine. And and you don't see that, like you said, like you don't see that on the Xbox side. Like if you mention getting an Xbox One S. When I posted mine, people were asking me, why didn't you wait for the Scorpio? Well, I'm like, I'm not. The game, like you have like 3 games come out a year that I cannot play on my PlayStation. Like, why would I want to spend $500 to play 3 games?
My favorite comment
just doesn't make sense.
My favorite comment is when they be like, this holiday season, all the best games are, all the best versions of multiplats are on Xbox. And I'm like, for who though? Because last I checked, there's 28 million Xbox One S owners. It ain't them. They're not playing the best version. So who? The 300,000 people that decide to buy Scorpio? Like, who gives a shit? Like,
Exactly.
no one cares about 300,000 people. There's 27 million Xbox One owners that no one's talking about them. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying anything that they can enjoy. It's everything is 4K textured, 4K this, 4K that. They're not going to enjoy any of that. So what do they get out of this deal? What do they have to look forward to at E3 if the big thing of E3 is 4K? If I bought an Xbox One S, there's people who bought an Xbox One S today as we speak. What are they going to see in E3? What's in it for them? You see what I'm saying? And that's where the advantage. This November, PlayStation's going to sell off the boat just simply because of the momentum. Because really, Xbox One S owner, look what they got this year. They got a canceled game. They got remasters of Voodoo Vince, to which most of them don't even know what the hell that is, or Phantom Dust. They got Halo Wars, to which nobody bought, and they see nothing.
Or RBI Baseball pulled out.
Yeah, they see nothing.
Oh, that was on both. That was on both.
Yeah, they see nothing. They're not seeing anything. All they see, and if they do go to YouTube and be like, man, let me go type in the search box Pro Xbox YouTube channels, and they click on it, all they're seeing is 4K Vega, 4K, and they're like, I just bought an Xbox One S. What do I get out of this? I go to a YouTube channel, they're talking about 4K on hell, I didn't even know a Scorpio was coming out. And they're like, this is bullshit. Like, what is going on with this console I just bought? You see what I'm saying? I would be confused as fuck.
I agree.
I'd be like,
I mean, like you said, like you go to PlayStation channels and you don't hear them even mention Pro versus Slim or anything. They just talk about games. They're talking about games and they're gaming, and they don't tell you like, well, we're gaming on the PS4 Pro, we're gaming on the they don't care the distinction between the two. All they care about is the games, and they let people know that basically you have a PS4. You don't actually have. We don't need to classify it as what PS4 you have. You have a PS4, and where it's one system. So it doesn't matter which one you get. Get the one that you can afford, and you're going to be just as happy as I am with whatever I can afford. Yeah, and that's
I agree with that statement.
That's
no,
a
you're absolutely right.
Big difference between the two different Sony and Microsoft centric channels.
Yep.
Well, what about
it's a
the
big difference.
Ryzen Vega CPU and all this kind of stuff?
They backed away from that, but then they started. Now they're saying that whole I think evolved the Jaguar evolved. The evolved part is part Vega chips or something like that, or part Ryzen chips. And I'm like, no, it's not. It just no, it doesn't happen that way. They're two different chipsets for one thing.
All right. Well, I agree.
But I mean, I'm like with
Rambo, maybe you need to explain that to them. Maybe these people don't understand that. Maybe
I've tried. I've tried. It just it doesn't do any good. I get called. I'm triggered and I'm scared of the Scorpio and all. I'm not. Why would I be scared of a fucking machine?
A little box that you can step on and squash.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. But like the thing with the Xbox, though, like last year when they actually unveiled the Xbox One S and they it went on sale or whatever. The big thing, like everybody, they told everybody, oh, upgrade here. You're going to get HDR gaming. That's going to be like this is going to be like the new place to play because of HDR this and HDR that. And now, like PlayStation launched 2 months after with the HDR, and they have like 3 times the amount of games covering HDR. And so, to me, like as an Xbox, I mean, if you're an Xbox owner, like if you went from an Xbox One to an Xbox One S because of this new HDR thing, and now they're trying to sell you on a whole Scorpio because of the 4K 60. Well, they didn't even deliver really much on the actual HDR gaming. So what makes me think they're? I mean, it puts faith in. Well, they'll deliver on the 4K 60. Yeah, because they did so well with from the 1 to the S. You know, fulfilling their promises. They didn't really fulfill their promises there. Because I mean, there's new games releasing this year. Voodoo Vince released. Halo Wars 2 released. None of them have HDR support.
Yeah, it's a good point.
So like, how do you trust that they're going? I mean, as an Xbox One owner or even a new person, if you're just getting into it, how do you trust they're going to be able to pull off 4K 60?
Well, I thought they showed it though. That thing didn't they show some driving game? I know they showed.
They just showed a screenshot. They showed a screenshot of 4K 60 with 60%. Usage of the GPU, but it was actually at the start line. None of the cars were actually moving; they were all just sitting there. Well, it's easy to hit 4K 60 when you're just sitting there because there's nothing going on. Right. So, I mean, they've not showed a single bit of video footage showing the thing actually hitting 4K 60 with 4K textures.
Right, and they've backed off of the VR support too for the Scorpio as well. I mean, as far as them not talking about it, maybe they show that in a couple weeks, at E3. But
I hope they do something.
Have to wait and see.
I hope that there's something that makes me want to get the Scorpio. I mean, I would love. I mean, I know I just bought my S, but I would trade that in for a Scorpio if they gave me a reason to. Like if they announced a bunch of these games and they were like, but I still, even if they announced the games, I'm still not going to run out and go buy a Scorpio simply for the fact that I don't trust that they're actually going to be released at this point because there's so many cancellations. So I mean, that's true. That's another thing that actually holds me back from getting a Scorpio, or I think even just a regular casual gamer.
Say something. That's what stops me because I don't care what games they announce at E3 because they can potentially still cancel them. So why would I go out and buy a box for $500 and something?
Well,
to get the same old shit.
Yeah.
You get the same shit, and then you're gonna cancel some shit. You don't have enough studios to keep producing shit. Third parties. But why would I buy a console if I can buy? If I already have another console, it's going to be there. Why would I buy it on yours?
Well, yeah, I mean, I agree completely with you. I mean, I've been trying to tell people this like the whole time. They're telling me that I need to come over to get the Scorpio for my third party games. I'm like, why do I need to spend more money to go play same games I'm going to be playing on my PlayStation 4? It was like, it doesn't make sense. Well, they're going to look better. I'm like, well, yeah, but I get
play on your PC too, for all we know.
I said, yeah, they might look better, but I was like, guess what? I'm still getting all the game day one on my PS4 while you're still waiting 30 days to a year on some games on your Xbox One. I said, sure.
I have a question for you guys.
Who's that?
Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. This is Grimy.
Okay. Oh, Grimy made it. Oh shit.
I made it.
Everybody,
yeah, for sure.
Grimy made it. God damn, I've been waiting for this, excuse my mouth, this motherfucker didn't come on for goddamn months now. And he finally showed his ass up. He's always drunk on big tribes. Let me stop.
He scared me there for a second.
No problem, man. Yeah, I have a question. So you guys were just talking about why get a Scorpio if it's just going to be the same third party games, all this. But quick question: have you guys ever purchased like a new cell phone, even if you had a cell phone that was properly working? Like if you had the iPhone 5, did you go out and purchase the iPhone 6?
No.
Well, I mean,
no. Me personally, no.
I do. No. I do. I mean,
if it works, I ain't playing.
I upgrade every year with my phone. But
I think Microsoft is kind of going along, that business model of it's the latest and greatest. Like the culture that we live in with most people, especially casual gamers. If you're a casual gamer, you're typically, I don't want to say a trendy person, but you're going to go for the newest, brightest toy.
Okay, that's that is exponential.
Well, I mean, I get that.
That's actually exponentially. No, that's actually exponentially false. The casual gamer does not care about the trends. The casual gamer walks in and says, "Okay, how can I play my game for the cheapest cost possible?"
No, like because the casual gamer is going to walk in, they see what's advertised in a GameStop, in a Best Buy.
Here you go. But here you go. Here you go. Here's the
person. Wait. The only person that would do that is somebody who wants to keep up with the Joneses down the street. Oh, well, they got it, so I gotta have it. Oh, they got a new car, so I gotta get it.
That's
America.
Here's what the casual gamer is gonna do. They're gonna walk in, and this is the reason why these third-party deals that Sony has are so much of a Scorpio block that it's unreal. Because like when a casual gamer walks in and say a casual gamer's like, man, I love that first Red Dead Redemption, I want to get the second one. They're gonna walk into GameStop, they're gonna walk into Best Buy, they're whatever, and they're gonna look and say, well, where's Red Dead Redemption? And they're gonna be like, well, shit, there's a big red box that says Red Dead Redemption 2 and a PS4, $250. Wow. Or I can spend $500 on this one console and then also go buy the $60 game and spend $560 just to get a better looking version of it. No, the casual is going to be like, shit, I'm just going to pick that. It's casual. The casual gamers are like so easy. They just walk in and just because they play 1 or 2 games a year. They're not investing that much money into being able to play 1 or 2 games a year. They're just being able to go in there and purchase something that's quick and easy. And being able to see these boxes for Destiny 2, the Red Dead Redemption 2, Call of Duty this year, and then I forgot the other one, not Spider-Man, but the
Star Wars Battlefront.
Star Wars Battlefront. All those boxes are going to have Sony like a PlayStation with a game already in it for the game that they're looking for. Those casuals that go in there. That's going to be like the biggest casual draw. Then I mean, because how do you display in a store 4K 60? You can't. There's no way you can. Just a screenshot doesn't do anything. There's no way to actually like. I mean, that was a big thing with the PlayStation 4 Pro when they actually showed it off. Nobody could really tell the difference between the actual true game that you were playing on the PS4 and the PS4 Pro, because like the displays that you were working on, them actually being able to show it to you from a distance, like, and then a camera picking it up and like putting it back onto your TV or your YouTube, you couldn't really see a huge difference in it. So, but now, I mean, there's no way to actually show off the Scorpio.
Rambo, you got a point though. When you say casuals really don't know the difference.
No, well, I mean, casuals don't. Like, casuals are just walking in there because the casuals look at it like, I play Call of Duty once a year, or I play Call of Duty and I play, GTA. They don't, that's all that they're looking for is the 1 or 2 games that they play. And whenever they walk into that store and they're going to be able to see their game paired with a console. If they don't actually have a console already, they're not touching the Scorpio. They're going after that box that has the game and the console and the game in one box for one low price.
Yeah, casuals, not a collector.
The collectors and the big hardcore people. Yeah, you might see a big difference in there, but the casuals are looking for, how can I play my one game that I play and just be able to get out of here as quickly as possible? That's one box. That's it.
And one thing you guys got to realize is that when it comes to casuals versus hardcore or collectors, there's a lot more casuals than there are us.
Yeah, you're right, Princess.
Oh, that by far. I mean,
by far, there's a lot more of them. So that's where they got, that's where they, people are catering to, and that's what people got to look at.
And that's another thing that, like, the casual market is already basically with Sony right now. Like, that's the reason why Sony has sold so well, is because, or PS4 has sold so well, is because the casual market actually has followed, with Sony. And so the casual market isn't going to up and leave their console that they've already purchased and to go jump to another console to spend another $500 and be able to have to build their library all over again and have to, build their friends list or whatever all over again. They're just simply not going to do it because they've already got a console. They've already got the game or 1 or 2 games that they play those each year. And that's the casuals just don't do that. Now the hardcore people that have both consoles, I mean, people talk about like everybody has both consoles. No, they don't. Like there's like probably a very few select people that actually have both consoles.
And I'm one of them.
Yeah, me too. But most casual gamers don't have both. Like they just they don't, because they're only looking for one or like I said, 1 or 2 games, and then say the quickest way possible. And since Sony's had all these marketing deals,
and the cheapest way, because
the cheapest way.
They don't buy a lot of games, so why would they go out and buy a console?
Yeah, I mean,
for extra money.
If you barely ever drove your car, you're gonna go out and buy a Lamborghini for $2 million, or are you gonna go buy like a Ford F-150 for $30,000? You're gonna go buy the $30,000 car because you barely ever drive it. You know what I mean? You're not going to go buy the big fancy thing, the brand new, the thing that came out. You're just going to get something to get you here and there whenever you actually want to go out. It's the same thing with the casuals with the console.
The only person that would do something like that is somebody that just likes possessions.
Yeah, and it's hard to use the cell phone market as that, because the cell phone market, yeah, you can upgrade every year, but your contract allows you to do that without paying $500 up front. Like in September, I can go upgrade to the Samsung Galaxy S8 or the Note 5 if that comes out at no cost. Like it doesn't cost me anything. I walk in there, walk out with a brand new phone. Guess what? I'm done. I didn't have to spend a dime on that. But I can't walk in there with my Xbox One S and walk out with the Scorpio without paying a dime. So that you can't use the cell phone market like that.
Yeah. The other thing is, everybody's got to realize that it's listening that. People, PlayStation is a household name. People grew up on PlayStation. Okay, if they didn't go on PlayStation, they did maybe Nintendo. They grew up on this.
Oh yeah, okay, that's another thing that's hard to fight.
Exactly, they grew up on this. They not only grow up, they grew up on any when you came to gaming consoles. What'd you think of? Nintendo or PlayStation? More PlayStation. Okay, it was there. Shit, and the first thing they think of is what? Mario, Donkey Kong, this, that. I mean, either Mario or when it comes to Nintendo or Donkey Kong or whatever. But they grew up on PlayStation. It's a household name. Yeah, Microsoft may be for computers, but they weren't for gaming.
Well, no, but Microsoft. I mean, you can't take away that Microsoft did a really good job at capturing the North American audience.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm just saying. They did do a good job at doing that, but they have never made themselves a worldwide appeal. They're just not. Like they're getting crushed over there in Europe.
And I've been saying, but Rambo, this is what I've been saying for a long time now. They think of just North America and they forget about the rest of the world. You cannot do that. You want to make a name for yourself, and you wonder why you got to close down studios. Why ain't getting support? Because first of all, people don't want the same old shit over and over again. Second of all, you're closing down studios. You're not budgeting your shit right. You're not marketing your shit right. You're not trying to get. I mean, yeah, you got some people like I know one person. Where did he say he was in the Philippines or something? He said I'm probably the only person that owns an Xbox. Fuck, I'm probably the only person.
But you have to think about, like, if you had North America, let's say not even 10 years ago, if you had a good market share in North America, and maybe you had a little bit of foothold in Europe, then that's all you needed, because it's only been within the last decade that a lot of these countries have, moved into positions where they're able to have a decent percentage of people purchase consoles and even have the internet to do these. So I agree with you, Nancy, that they haven't done a good job of marketing themselves in the country or other countries in North America. But I think that it's probably just because they thought, well, for a long time, all you needed to have was, if we split off with Sony in North America and maybe have a little bit of a hold in, the UK, then, we'll make money, we'll profit. And
yeah, but you know what? UK has had the same shit we have. That Microsoft knows about the internet. They involved in that shit. They know all about the shit. Okay. You should keep up with the times and know where to market your shit. If something is new is opening, you got to do that. You cannot just sit back. Is all I'm saying.
I agree.
Listen, wait. Here's another thing. Here's another example where the Xbox division of Microsoft, because they have a lot of different divisions. Look what the hardware for your computer is all over the damn world. They can market that shit. They can market the cloud. everywhere. They even said in the other division who does the cloud, if Sony wants the cloud, they got the cloud. Okay, so what I'm saying is you market certain things, but I'm talking about the overall Microsoft. I'm talking about the Xbox division of Microsoft. They aren't doing it. The rest of the Microsoft brand, when it comes to computers and software and doing other shit, they market that whoever wants it, they got it.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, though, is that the computer market changes so rapidly. That's the reason why I think they started out as a worldwide type of, like a global type of thing for the actual Microsoft company.
Yeah, I agree with that. But what I'm saying is that if that division knows, okay,
right?
Then you, as people who work for the company, should know that and be able to do the same thing. Is all I'm saying.
Yes. What I'm saying though is that they don't have the exact same people working for the Xbox division as they had working in the actual PC division. I agree with that. I agree with that. The thing is, like, just like you said, that back whenever they won the hearts of third-party developers, like they got all the third-party deals, back with the 360. They were doing good. They were competing with Sony that actually was doing worldwide numbers, and they were only basically having North America and a little bit of the UK, just like you said, because that's all you needed really. And so, but the problem is that Microsoft always had just a few select first-party studios, whereas Sony just kept on adding more and more to their lineup, and they kept on putting out more and more games, and that's what caught them up on the PS3. But Microsoft never actually invested again in first-party. They always let, like, somebody actually use like the Pac-Man effect. Like, it actually seems like pretty good. They let a developer develop for them for a while. Let them get known and let them be successful, and then they buy them because I know, okay, well, they're an investment that's worth making. Let me buy them.
Can I do one thing before you go on, Rambo? And not to cut you off, and I do apologize for that, but I got to address somebody in the chat. This, whatever his name, Chris Dookie, whatever your name is, I don't know, but he turned around saying this shit. I grew up on Xbox, so fuck Sony. See, these are the people I don't like because they don't respect gaming overall. We're talking about what Microsoft can do better to do whatever, because most of us here own both consoles. So we're trying to do something. Ain't he talking about that shit? I bet you he grew up on it, even if he started with the OG. I bet you I still got a bigger gamer score than his fucking dumb ass does. So keep talking your shit, bitch. You don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead, Rambo.
Well, no, no, that's fine. They never turned around and, like, they just rode the third party coattails, and then they only had to put out a few exclusives every now and then or whatever, the first party wise, and everything was working fine for them. But they never took the time to think, well, what's going to happen next generation, and what's going to happen if we don't keep these third parties. But so they never invested more into their first party studios, or to buy more studios, or to build more IPs or anything. And so now come this generation, there's no way for them to capture that worldwide audience because they never invested last generation while they had that momentum, and gaming has grown now, and they didn't grow with it. And so now they're actually trying to compete with Sony. That's actually that went from like 10 years ago. And they started building their first party lineup even bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger throughout PS3, and now they're into PS4, and they got a worldwide appeal. The gaming's a bigger audience than what it was before. They have a worldwide appeal. They have 15 to 17 first party studios making like 1 to 2 games each, 1 to 2 IPs apiece, and then Microsoft is still stuck with 5 first party studios making 1 IP each. For the same type of shit they had back in towards the end of the 360 days, like they never grew. Like their timeline almost kind of stayed the same, and they never really looked at like what happens when we lose this. What happens when gaming gets bigger, or we don't have the third party support anymore? What are we gonna do then? But they never planned for that.
I got a question. What they can do? They can go, back to the future, or back, get back to the future game and understand, go back to the past and correct your shit.
I imagine they wish that they could. I imagine in hindsight they wish they could go back to the 360 days and invest in their first party studios. I imagine that they really wish that they could have done that. And that's what, and that actually kind of scares me, like going off of what they were saying about the story-based games, because the trend right now is multiplayer games, and it sounds like they really want to like ride that trend. Well, like, everybody knows trends come and go. So what's going to happen when that multiplayer trend kind of goes away and it becomes more about story-based or RPG, you know, big RPGs or whatever the big game, you know, the game genre at that time is? What's going to happen whenever that happens to Microsoft? I mean, they're not going to be prepared for that, because they're not investing in these other things, because your third-party titles always provide a multiplayer aspect pretty much almost 100% of the time. But if
I just think part of your, not to interrupt you there, but I just think what you're saying is right. But what Phil Spencer, to me, if you listen to what he says, where he messed up is he should have just said these games don't sell well on the Xbox system. The problem is, I think a lot of the fanboys in the Xbox community, not all of them, but a lot of them, they decided, well, Phil speaking for Nintendo, Phil speaking for Sony as well. And if he went to Nintendo's going to say, look, we just sold a ton of Switches with Mario and Zelda. Those are you know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the problem is though, is he used a Sony and Nintendo game as his reference point. And so
he was run with that. Yeah, and they ran with that.
He should have used one of his titles. But I mean, even then though, it goes back to what Microsoft is known for, is they will put out a game like, say, Rise or Quantum Break or, you know, Recore, whatever the game is, and it doesn't do well the very first time out, and guess what? It's gone. Like they don't care. But if you look at Sony, Uncharted,
before you go anywhere. But that's a different with Sony. Even if it doesn't do well, they'll come back and try. They're not afraid to put their money in there where Microsoft is. I don't understand it.
Well,
there's Overdrive. There needs to be a second one. I'm sorry.
I think there's a reason for that, and I mean, because like with Uncharted 1, it didn't come over all that great. But then Uncharted, they still stuck with it, and Uncharted 2 came out, and one Game of the Year was like one of the best games out there. So if you look at it, but Microsoft, I think the big key difference here is that PlayStation is doing the multitude of profit for Sony. So Sony relies on PlayStation a whole lot more than Microsoft relies on Xbox. And so
that's true. No, that's you're 100% correct. Because they can get rid of the Xbox brand, and Microsoft's still going to do just fine.
Yeah, and if Sony got rid of the PlayStation brand, I don't think Sony would still be around. So I think that Sony does these, like, takes more risk because they are willing to do whatever it takes to make their fans happy and to make gamers happy, because that's what's going to make their console successful. Whereas Microsoft doesn't really, they look at it more of a business standpoint as, I mean, am I bleeding money in this one area? Well, if I am, then let's cut it off. You know, let's not do that. Let's not worry about that. Because like they don't actually have to depend on anything from Xbox, and right now
it's almost like Sony is run by gamers who have a business degree, and the Xbox division is run by business guys that may have played a game here or there.
Exactly. Yes.
Like all they want to do is they're looking for, hey, is this making money? Can we get?
I agree.
Actually, Grimey's talking some real shit. Now, I wonder why he hasn't shown his ass up here before, because now he's saying some stuff that makes sense.
That actually, and I don't think so much that Phil Spencer is that way, because I think that Phil Spencer is actually a gamer. I think that what it is, though, is that he doesn't have full control over Xbox. No, he don't. I think that because they, if you notice, like in the 360, the Xbox actually had its own division. Well, now they've pulled Xbox into the same division that the Surface tablets in, and all the different service-based titles are in. It's actually in that same division. So he actually has a boss in between him and Satya and Nadella that actually runs that whole entire thing. And that's what people understand. Yeah, I don't think that guy's a gamer. So that guy's a businessman dealing with a gamer that's running a business. So that the businessman's always going to win out.
Right. The other thing is they don't understand that the cloud is a separate division from the Xbox. and they have full control. And people are like, oh, you got to keep the cloud on Xbox, Phil. No, he doesn't have control. That's a separate division of Microsoft. Whoever needs a cloud is going to get it. They're going to make money for their division of Microsoft, but they don't have a job.
They've already said the Azure servers were open for everybody, like anybody, not just Sony, but everybody, like anybody who wants to use it, they can. You can rent those servers at any point in time.
Anybody can have, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. People don't realize that. People think that Phil Spencer has control over the cloud. No, he don't. No, he does not.
Well, and also, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Craig. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say you also have two different consumer bases where everybody's consuming the same thing, but they're consuming it differently. The average PlayStation gamer is older, and Sony's PlayStation 1 came out before there was an internet. You did not need internet to play Siphon Filter or Tenchu or anything like that. You were enclosed, so you've grown up playing games like that. The Xbox people, they've come in right at the boom of the internet, and that's where their games went. I mean, Halo 2 was garbage. It was a 5-hour campaign, and they concentrated on online because they wanted to get their money back. The original Xbox lost money each time they sold one. And so they recuperated with subscription. I said this the other night. Xbox Live is a subscription service. So is Games with Gold. So is all these Gamers Pass. All this stuff is subscription. So that's what they're going to do. So
yeah, I mean,
that's what they're going to do.
You don't think Halo 2 is trash, do you? Let's get that out of the way.
I thought it was straight garbage. That campaign was trash.
Oh wow, because most people I talk to say that Halo 2 is like the best Halo.
No, the best Halo is Halo Reach. Hands down, Halo Reach. It's to me. Now, this is all opinion, of course. But
are you talking about overall? Is there one thing you're looking at?
Oh, I'm looking at the fact that they changed. They being Microsoft.
I hate to say it, but I have to say that I agree with one thing. Halo Reach to me, with any Halo series, with any Halo game, was the better one.
Yeah, I mean, you got to change the color of your Spartan, for Christ's sake, instead of that raggedy ass green. But my point is that everybody's consuming things at different points. And the Xbox community, like Princess, you just said, they don't understand that Microsoft reorganized. Microsoft's been getting their butt kicked by Google and Apple. So that's a fact. I mean, that's where their money is made, not with Xbox. And you guys are right. Phil has a boss in front of him, and that whoever's in charge of Microsoft said, quote, the mission statement, I see Microsoft becoming a service-based, their stuff service-based. That's what it's going to be. So to answer your question earlier, Jordan, about the games in this fall, I mean, Rambo's right. When you go to Best Buy, you're not going to see Star Wars Battlefront. You're not going to see it running on an Xbox. They can't, because Sony controls marketing. And so if your claim to fame is, well, this is the best place to play multi-plat, Phil Spencer is now coming out saying that, what else is there? Star Wars Battlefront will be the biggest game this fall, period.
I don't know. I mean, that and Red Dead. All four of the games actually coming out this fall are going to be like the biggest games ever. So it's actually a toss-up of which one's actually going to be the biggest.
Oh, well, Battlefront will be the biggest because the death of Carrie Fisher and those collectors are going to go buy that console.
Yeah, probably so. I mean, if they don't make a custom console for the Battlefront, they're kind of stupid, because I think that, just like you said, people that don't even game will go out and buy it just for the fact that it's a Star Wars console, so a Star Wars product.
Yeah, that's it. And they will try to sell it in different, like at Celebration. There were people trying to get the Darth Vader one that came out, I guess, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Somebody came out with. There were two people down there walking around with that, trying to get the cast to sign that box that they hadn't opened yet. They're not going to play the game. The product.
You can't downplay the newness, the new, right. The new car, the new girl, the new person at school, the new console on the block, because just like we were talking about with PlayStation 1,
right?
In the OG Xbox, there was no predecessor to the OG Xbox, and yeah, it did lose money, but it did get a bit of a foothold in the gaming market because it was the new thing. Because so I'm not saying that I don't think the Scorpio is going to do anything for Microsoft in terms of its appeal worldwide, or and maybe in North America it might do something. It might have an uptick, but not much. But I'm just saying that you guys are right with the games and what you're gonna be seeing when you come in. But there is something to say about, hey, do you guys have that new Xbox, that new Scorpio? Hey, I want to try that new thing out.
Hold on, let me ask him a quick question.
Okay, go ahead.
Question. This is important. Okay, with that being said, what you just said, okay, why did Phil Spencer himself say the Xbox One S is going to be the bigger seller this fall? All right, they already have the projections in front of them what Scorpio is going to do. So they already know what's going to move more. I mean, you're right. I agree with it being brand new, and people are going to definitely want to go take a look at the new fruit. But if they already are setting themselves up for the Xbox One S to sell more, because like Princess said earlier, and Porter Rock was saying, it's cheaper. People are going to walk in and say, oh, that's $199 versus $399 or $499. So why do you think Spencer himself would say the Xbox One S
Scorpio being at least 500 minimum?
I'm thinking
600. People gonna go for this. People gonna go for the slim. They really are.
Right. Just how we were talking about earlier about who's running Xbox and who's running Sony. You have a bunch of business guys running Xbox, so it's not intelligent to say, oh well, Scorpio's gonna come out and do numbers or be this huge hit, especially when it's this first go around and you have something that is kind of already established. It wouldn't be the best business practice to project the Scorpio to outsell the One S, because the One S is already there. It is cheaper, but I'm pretty sure that they do have projections and they are hoping that this Xbox Scorpio exceeds their projections. They're wanting more people to go out and buy the Scorpio, but they're not going to come out and say, we're going to expect the Scorpio, especially when it's basically going up against the S.
I think
the holiday season. But Grimy, one thing they got to do is, first of all, their price is high, and they're not talking about enough games. And the fact that they like to cancel games like they did with the Xbox One, people are skeptical now. They don't have enough studios. They close down studios, and people are skeptical.
But and regular people don't know that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And this is what needs to get. That's why I want casuals to watch, because I want them to get an education on what's going on. I'm not telling them not to buy it. Don't get me wrong. I would never say that. Listen, I want the Microsoft brand to do good. I really do. We need we need more than just two consoles out there, okay? We need to have diversity.
Yeah,
but we also need new IPs. Competition is good. We also need exclusives. And not just the same old shit. Come up with something new. But they don't have the studios to do that. They only have the studios to do what? Gears.
Gears, Halo, Forza, and Minecraft, and Sea of Thieves.
There you go. You name them. I lost train of thought. There you go. That's what I'm saying. But they need to have other people do other shit. Third party for the people who just have your console already and are going to do it, fine. But they're not going to go out and buy a new console for third party if they own both consoles. They're not going to do it. Why should I go buy a new console at $500-$600 when I could just get it on my PlayStation and it runs just as well?
The one thing though that you keep saying is like the new, and I agree 100% with you. Like whenever like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One came out, because that was a new console. So that made everybody run out and purchase it and pre-order it and all these different things. But this Xbox Scorpio is not a new console. I mean, like, there's not going to be, like, the reason why people run out and, like, bought the original Xbox or bought the PlayStation 2 or, you know, whatever console it was you want to say when it was new is because that was like a jump from from one generation to the next, and that you were like, you went out there because it was new and you wanted to see the new games that you weren't going to be able to play on your previous thing. This thing doesn't do that. This thing doesn't have that effect. Just like the PS4 Pro didn't have that same effect. I mean, it wasn't like everybody rushing out to the PS4 Pro because it was a new console. I mean, the PS4,
that was a mistake in marketing. It should have never been called the PS4 anything.
Well, yeah, it should have been. It should have, because of it was never intended to be a top seller, and neither is the Scorpio. The Scorpio is not intended for to be the top Xbox One console. It's not a new console. I mean, if they were going from one generation to the next, yes, I would 100% agree with you. But since they are sticking with the same family of consoles, as just straight across, no new games for that console specifically, then they're not. I mean, they're not looking for everybody to flock out and go get the Scorpio. They're saying, we want to provide something from the basic Xbox One for if you're looking just for the dirt poor, the dirt cheap one, to the Xbox One S if you're looking for still a damn cheap one, but it has different features in it. Or you want to be able to go out and get go balls to the wall and get a Scorpio. Like you can do that with the Xbox One. You have choices. Like, you don't just got one choice going to Xbox. You have 3 choices. The same thing with the PlayStation is, well, I mean, actually you end up having 2 choices, the Xbox One S and the Scorpio. But I mean, you have a $250 console versus a $500 console, $600 console, and then you go to PlayStation, you have a $250 console versus a $400 one. They were never geared towards being like the top seller. They're just geared towards giving the gamers a choice that do want the extra fidelity or the extra oomph to their games, that they can actually have that. Like Phil actually even already said that this is built for the high-end consumer. Though if you look at PC, I mean, the same thing goes with PC. Like whenever these 1080 Ti's and the Titans come out, those are built for the high-end consumer. And a very small portion of the PC gamers actually go out and purchase it, even though it's a brand new graphics card. They do that because of the fact that it costs so much. They've already got something they can play. They already got a card that can play all these games, but that just makes the games look just a little bit better. But that only a few of them go out to do it because that's target towards that high end customer. Same thing with the Scorpio and same thing with the Pro. Those are targeting a very subset of gamer within the console genre. So their expectations of the Slim outselling the Xbox One or the Xbox Scorpio is actually 100% on. There's no doubt in my mind that will stay the same until they go to the next console. Or until they get rid of the S. That's going to be that way forever. The same thing with the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro. Even if they called it the PlayStation Pro and didn't put a 4 in there, the PS4 Slim still would have sold more because the same games played across it. They market it as a family of consoles, and that's the reason why they do that, is so that way gamer, like the consumer, the casual consumer, can know, hey, if I buy this $250 console, do I actually have to buy the $400 one, or can I buy the $250 one and still get by? And they do that so that way there's less confusion in the store. And so it's a very sound thing. I think it's actually a pretty good thing that they do that.
Right, and I totally agree with you. I'm just saying that when I say new, I'm just meaning that this is the next offering, whether it's the next generation or I'm not debating that. I'm just saying that this is our latest offering to the consuming public. Now, you do have a sector of the public, and they may be a small minority of people that can actually afford to go out, or people who like to they see the new shiny thing and can go out and buy it just to say they have it, kind of like Nancy was saying earlier, just keeping up with the Joneses. But the whole family of products, whole family of consoles, I do actually think that this is their new console, just because this is how consoles are being marketed now. You're not having to go from, you know, the Nintendo, the NES to the SNES, where none of your NES games are going to play on the SNES. All your games are going to play on this new console. So it's not as if it's not a brand new generation per se. Yeah. But it is something that they are wanting to be. Yeah, I think that their flagship eventually.
I think that eventually what you're going to see right now the S will continue to outsell the Scorpio. It's going to stay that way for a while until Microsoft starts winding down production on the S, and kind of making the Scorpio like basically the go-to console.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, and then they're going to come.
Oh, perfectly. But Rambo, I got a new name for you. Rambo, I got a name for you. It's not just Rambo, it's Rampage Rambo, because when you get off on a tangent, man, you get going.
So what was because I had to come home and, you know, I had to leave and come home and all that stuff. So what was the previous discussion? Just give me a little recap so I know what's going on.
Rambo, go ahead, because Rambo's on a rampage right now. I'm calling Rampage Rambo. Go ahead, tell me.
Well, basically the Scorpio like being the new console, like selling well, like selling more than possibly the S, possibly. But we said that it's not going to, and so I said it's not going to because it's not marketed as that new console. It's marketed as just another console in the Xbox One family. And I think eventually, like you said though, that they are gonna want the Scorpio to take over because that's where they're gonna want their baseline to be. But I think that what you're gonna see is that the S will continue to outsell it until the fact that they start like cutting production down on the S.
Oh, by the way,
kind of forcing people over to the Scorpio.
What's up, Nancy?
Yeah, before you guys start, I just want to let you know we got somebody new that came in. It's one of the people who are one of my big fans that watch me all the time. His name is Grimy. He's here on the podcast tonight.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
What's up, man?
I just wanted to introduce you because you weren't here. So go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rambo.
Oh no, and the reason why I say that the new part isn't going to work like it normally does is because of the fact of it being the family of consoles. They can't say that, like, they can't market it as like going like come check out the new games, because there's not any new games for that console. There's nothing pulling you over to that console other than just playing the exact same games you have now, or that you're able to get, you know, whenever they come out at a prettier look. I mean, it's not like that there's going to be a game for there's not. The reason why these brand new consoles sell so well is because you're kind of forced into it if you want to continue gaming, because that's where all the new games are going to release on, and the old generation is going to go away. Whereas like the Scorpio and the Pro and all them, they're not like that. Eventually they will be. Yes, I agree with you. But like right now,
Scorpio's not going to have its own library of launch games that are going to come out with it. I don't think Scorpio is going to
have its own games for at least another good maybe 3 years. I think I think that's when you're going to start seeing Scorpio only games, and then them kind of weeding away from the S. And I think the PS4 is going to be along the same lines to where they're both releasing a new console within the next maybe 3 years.
You guys there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So you guys stay here. You know what? We're gonna move on to one of the next subjects. And I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but you know what? Y'all know I don't care. Y'all know I don't care. Grimy's been sticking by me for a long time. Grimy knows I don't give a fuck. You know.
They love you.
You know you love me. Yeah, you're right. But anyway, Phil Spencer versus the fanboys. Now, I talked about this on the 60 Frames No Lag podcast with Porter Rock. Okay. Now, what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and then you guys can have the floor. Okay. When it comes to this console war stuff, affect me. I could care less who says their console is better. I don't care. It don't bother me. Y'all think it bothers me. What bothers me is when fanboys cross the line, okay? Make fun of cancer victims. make fun of people with disabilities, say racist things, send death threats, and hate on Twitter, send rape threats. Okay, especially when especially it's with the Xbox community. Okay, that whole victim mentality. They victimize themselves. What the fuck you talking about? These motherfuckers victimize themselves by talking that bullshit and make everything into it's against Xbox. It's against me. And they cry, boo-hoo. Oh, fuck y'all. Okay? I agree when he said what he said. But at the same time, Phil still associates with these type of people. And until he actually comes out and tells people like Crack Gamer to shut the fuck up, he's just making a blanket statement. Now, I know he's the head of a corporation. Wait. No, I know he's the head of a corporation. Let me just finish what I'm going to say, so I don't lose track because it's running in my mind right now. I know that he's higher up in a ladder of the corporation. He shouldn't do that, but they do need to do that for one reason. Because they don't realize it's fucking with their own brand. And at least stop associating with certain people, okay? And people telling you what games you should have on your console, what games you shouldn't have. Like they say, oh, you shouldn't have no Japanese games on there. Why not? 360 had it, and they did well. Why not? That's all I'm saying. But anyway, the fact is, Phil could have said this shit months ago when people were making fun of a man whose child died of cancer, and he knows, and he didn't say shit. Okay, so yeah, I judge people based on this moment, not what they do down the goddamn motherfucking line. All right, I'm sorry for cussing, but this is a subject that has been in my heart for a long time, and I'm trying to bring it out. I did a little bit on Porter Rock's podcast on Wednesday. And I had to do this. So any thoughts on Phil Spencer calling out fanboys on your end? And what are your thoughts on what I said as well, of what these people do? I mean, you guys are real, and that's why you're here, because I value your opinion.
Well, when it comes to Phil Spencer, what he did was respond to a person that tweeted him some fanboy response to some stupid game that Phil was talking about, and Phil responded accordingly, and I think he actually responded appropriately. And I get what you're saying as far as like what crap does and like that, like he should say something. But
it's not only him, though. It's not only him. He associates with other people who have said Japanese games don't belong in here. Nobody wants that shit.
Right. What I'm saying though is that, I mean, like, since he has a verified Twitter, and he actually has a ton of people following him and tweeting him, you don't necessarily see every single reply that comes through. I mean, because I know me, like I've actually missed replies on mine, because I'll come back from say a podcast, and I'll have 100+ notifications, and I think I've seen them all, but then I don't see one of the replies that do it. So I can see where he can honestly miss some things. I think that, but I mean, if it's a direct reply to him, then he might.
Before you go on, I'll say one other thing, and then because I got to say this, and then you can throw this in the mix. One thing Phil needs to do. I understand he's trying to associate with the fans and make it a bigger thing, but don't you think they should have a marketing department to do that? And he should be in the Oval Office, as I would call it, and be deciding on what to do better for the gaming community, instead of being online on Twitter trying to respond to these people and worrying about it. Let people have somebody do that, have a secretary or somebody do that for you.
I think that works in twofold though. Because in one hand, it's actually pretty cool that he's actually out there as the head of Xbox. It's actually good for him as the head to be out there talking to fans, because then he's actually the one that makes decisions, or that says yes or no, is out there actually hearing what the fans want in a sense. I mean, I can't refer directly.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. He doesn't respond, because I was in a chat with him with several people 2 years ago, and he didn't respond to anything I said. I mean, he did. He giggled about it, and he did nothing about it. I asked over 2 years ago for YouTube, and what do we get? fucking Beam. Now, I understand Beam's supposed to be a good thing, but you know what? I'm sorry. I want Twitter.
Well, yeah, but I think
Twitter lags, and so does Beam. So.
I think the reason why the reason why that he obviously can't respond to every single person. I see that him responding like to, I know he responds to Tim quite a bit. But I think that he actually has a kind of like a personal friendship to a certain degree with Tim.
But that's when the people say that we don't need Japanese games.
Oh, I know. No, I agree. I mean, I don't think it's hard to know if he's actually listening to him or not, because because Tim did say that, but I mean, Phil still went to Japan. So I mean, it's kind of hard to see what effect that Tim, like what Tim says has on Phil's decision making.
I personally think he went to Japan to play on a PlayStation 4. You cheater.
Yeah, I don't.
I do. He played Uncharted with him, multiplayer.
Sony actually moved their PlayStation headquarters over here into California. So, that would be where he would be going. He would just go down the street. The whole thing with like him interacting, I will say that yes, I mean it would be great for him not to interact with fanboys. The only problem is though is that whenever he responds to certain questions, like if the fanboy of Microsoft or Xbox ask him a question and they ask it in a normal way, there's no way for him to know that like that person has talked shit elsewhere, for other things. Whereas like if somebody responds to him in a fanboy manner, being a PlayStation fanboy, because that's usually the ones that will directly attack him in a fanboy manner, then him responding to that is actually it's in one hand it's appropriate because of the fact that that's where he's being attacked, and the Microsoft the fanboys on the Microsoft side are really just asking him questions, general questions.
Rambo, one question. Maybe he should have somebody filter somebody's questions so he can answer the main ones and not do the others, so that he could spend more time developing studios, developing games, and doing the right thing for the game players. But I'm not saying he shouldn't not answer people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But if you spend so much time doing that, instead of thinking of a strategy to bring up your, console, there's a problem there. And I think he spends more time doing that and gaming than he does actually worrying about other people do that. No, you're above these other people. You need to get on that ass.
Apparently he won't.
Period.
And I mean, in all fairness, I mean, the reason why I agree with you, and I understand like what you're saying, because you're looking at Microsoft as like the old Microsoft. I think looking at it from the new Microsoft, the way that their business model seems to be going, and exactly like what somebody said here earlier, that Satya Nadella is actually.
Excuse me 1 second, motherfucker! Shut up in the chat. Ain't nobody sucking your ex-cock, all right? Go fuck yourself, you piece of shit, you nasty motherfucker. This is what I'm talking about, the Xbox community. Suck my ex-cock. This is what I'm talking about, the Xbox community. They can't keep it real. They can't just let us have a conversation and discuss it out and see what other people have to say. This is just my opinion. You don't like it? Too fucking bad. Don't watch.
Go
ahead, guys. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I just had to address that people.
No, that's fine. I think that if you look at
one thing, let me. Okay. Can I just say something right quick? That's one thing to what I was gonna to say about this situation with Phil and everything. So you have people, fanboys, and then you have a sect of fanboys who take it to another level. When they take it to the other level, your eyes move from, because everybody is pretty much saying the same thing. If you have an Xbox fanboy, just the fanboy in general, he's just saying, "Oh, Xbox like a kid smooth. Xbox is the best box, blah blah blah," hyping up Xbox. You don't really, and I follow Kid Smooth, but I don't really look at Twitter all that much. So I don't know if he ever says anything super outrageous, kind of like, talking about people with disabilities or cancer or anything like that. But when you have when you have those people that go to those levels, cancer, talking about people, all that stuff, just some real degenerate shit, your eyes move to that. So you're looking at that, and then you associate Xbox fanboys with this 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 people who talk like that, when really it's just it's just 10, 20 people who are fucking degenerates. So I get what you're saying, that, you know, Phil needs to limit his or just maybe stop communication with fanboys. But at the same time, fanboys aren't the issue. I think that the very, very small minority, not even a percentage of fanboys, let alone Xbox fanboys, are the ones going out and saying shit or doing shit that's just deplorable. So if we as gamers, whether we're, you know, on Xbox or PC or whoever, PlayStation, if we as gamers just, you know, continue to marginalize those people, not even associate them with a brand, if that's something you want to do, you know, because they're only saying stuff because they're getting a response from it. If you can stop the response, and I don't think Phil Spencer is going to respond to someone that is
all right, but Grimy,
you know,
we're all talking about the same. Like Grimy, we're all talking about the same stuff and certain things that need to be done. Why was Dowd the only one addressed? Oh, we got all males in here. Y'all weren't told to suck his dick. I was. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
You're right.
There is some nasty shit going on. No, because you guys were saying some of the same shit I was saying and agreeing with me, but I was the one who got the shit.
Because that's going to get a rise. That's going to get a rise out of you. Whereas if someone in the chat might have said, "Hey, N-word, you know, suck my blah blah blah," then I would be like, "Oh, what the fuck?" You know, it has a different meaning to me. So they're basically playing off of, I don't want to say insecurities, but they're basically playing off of your feelings when they say shit like that, because they know if Princess sees that, she's going to react. I'm going to get 5 seconds of fame.
Kind of like another troll, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, that like the troll in the chat. I get what
you're saying. I get what you're saying. So from now on, when they say stupid shit like that, just
ignore them.
But my problem is, you know, I haven't really talked too much since I came back. But my problem is, I think social media killed this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for like this Twitter, if it wasn't for like fucking YouTube and all this shit, I remember, like I said, back in the day, about 7 to 10 years ago, you didn't hear about this shit. You feel me? Yeah, fanboys probably existed. I went to school with fanboys and shit, but it was cool because we were teenagers. You remember that? We were teenagers. So if I'm having a friend who's like 15, 16 years old and he's playing on the Dude 360, playing bro shooters and shit, and he's thinking, oh, Uncharted 2 is really good, and I have another friend who thinks, no, Halo 3 is good. You know what I'm saying? It's cool back then because we were teenagers, we're having fun, we don't know anything, we don't know anything. But when I see adults going as far as talking shit about someone who has disability or anything like that, and I look at you and I said, dude, how old are you? Like, seriously, I want to know your age, because I'm very curious to see, because if you're over the age of 19, you really need to rethink your life. And then from my understanding, you Rambo, you Princess, you guys are telling me these people are over 30 years old, or over 30, and sometimes you guys' age are even older. So I'm like, are you serious? These are adults, like, you know, are doing this. So I don't get it. Like, what is it? All this over a piece of plastic.
Well, it's really, like, it's not over. But it's really not over. It's really not over.
Let me get in here real quick. It's about validation. They're looking for other people for validation. I mean, I can't imagine going to the store as a grown-ass man, buying an Xbox. Say I buy an Xbox One S. I go out tonight, I go to Walmart and buy one, coming home, plugging it up, going online to see what somebody else thinks about what I bought. And if they don't like it, attacking them for it. I mean, they're still looking for validation on what they bought.
But I don't even think it's validation. I think that the people that are saying this shit to you or to whoever, you know, whoever it is, if you buy an Xbox or if you buy a PlayStation, the ones that are saying it back and forth, those people, like I forget what Grimy said. they're not looking at it because of the piece of plastic, or they probably don't even give a shit that you actually have an Xbox or you have a PlayStation. They could give a shit less. I think the only reason they're doing it is just another form of trolling, is just to get a reaction. As soon as you give them a reaction, you validate their existence.
Okay, but here's my problem. I get it that people like to have fun, but you are a grown ass man. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck are you doing? You are okay. That's fine. You want to troll? No, listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. Because at this point, I look at it this way here. You're fucking childish. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. If you're 20, okay, you're 25, 30, 35, 40 years old and over, calling yourself being on the fucking internet, trolling people with your little fake ass sock accounts and shit, and trying to troll people over a fucking piece of plastic, and you are a grown ass man on the fucking internet trying to troll people. I don't give a fuck if it's about a PlayStation or Xbox or tennis shoes or fucking Converse, Nike, TVs, or whatever the fuck you trying to troll people with. If you are a grown-ass man on the internet doing this shit, you are a piece of shit, guaranteed. Because what person has the fucking time to do that? Why do you have the time to do that? Like, why? What is the purpose out of it?
Okay, first of all, like that's completely. I gotta hate that I have to take the position of like not really trying to defend the trolls, but explain them, because I hate them too. But at the same time, I just ignore them. They don't fucking bother me at all. They don't make me.
I get what you're saying.
But what I'm saying though is, listen to what you just said. You said how a grown man sitting on the internet like trolling. How do they have the time for that? How do they have the time for that? Guess what? They're dedicating the exact same amount of time to trolling you as you are as a grown man sitting in this podcast talking to about video games. So it's not any different. I mean, they just chose a different aspect than what you did. So I mean, like, we're talking about video games. Like we've got families and stuff.
I think I understand. I think what he's saying is that why would they try to say hateful things to people
because
no reason?
Because it gets a reaction. It's just.
But why would you want to do that? Like, why?
Listen. Okay, I'll explain.
We're having fun. If we're talking about happy, love, joy shit,
Demetrius,
this one guy want to rain on the parade, it just pushes you off.
Demetrius, do you see how you just went off on that tangent? Like, you kind of got heated and like that. Do you guys see how Nancy like went from like happy and then all of a sudden like cut everybody off and like went directly attacking that guy?
Right.
To them, that's funny. That's the same thing as like when you're walking down the street with a friend and they trip over a curb and you start laughing. I mean, they might be hurt, but yet your initial reaction is to laugh because it was a funny reaction. They're laughing at the reaction. That's it. They're just getting the reaction. And therefore, that's going to keep them coming back because what?
But I look at it this way here. That's fine. If, like I said, this what I'm trying to say. And Nancy, you know what I'm saying. If you are 25, 30, 35 years old on the internet trying to get a reaction out of someone on purpose, I'm talking about a grown ass man who lives with his fucking mom, eating Hot Pockets all fucking day on the computer doing this shit here. Who can I troll next? Who can I troll next?
But you're giving them.
Wait.
Who can I troll next?
Wait. Demetrius, I understand what you're saying, but I understand what Rambo's saying too, and
I get what
everybody else is saying.
Ignorant as fuck.
But I guarantee you.
It is ignorant. It is ignorant.
But I guarantee you
is that we got to stop reacting because that's what they want, and then they're gonna keep on doing it. That's what he's trying to tell us.
And I guarantee you that there's somebody that's older than us that doesn't game, that's looking at us sitting in a podcast for hours talking about video games and these trolls and stuff, like going, well, fuck, they're fucking rejects sitting at home living with their parents and eating Hot Pockets. I mean, it's just a thing. I mean, I get where you're coming from, and I'm sure. I mean, hateful things are kind of, but they're only hateful if you allow them to be hateful. I mean, just if I call you ugly, does that mean you're ugly?
Yeah. No,
it really does it. I mean, it only defines it if you allow it to define you. If whenever they call, like if they call, like what Grimy said, if they call him the N-word, it only allows him to be one if he identifies as one. So if he doesn't let that word actually trigger him into a response, then guess what? He's not one. He moves on. He's like, big deal, whatever. You can call me whatever the hell you are. I know who I am. Don't worry about what people say. They're just looking for that reaction because they know the typical hot spots for a female to react, for a black person to react. And it's a little bit harder for them to get a white person to react because of the fact of, there's not really a whole bunch of like negative racial stereotypes with the white person as they are with the people of color or a female. So they know how to get the females and the people of color to react by calling them certain harsh, like very harsh language. But if you don't allow that to define you to where you get upset by being called that, then they hold no power over you. Whenever you see them in the chat saying that shit, you just move on because it doesn't matter. Like, who gives a shit? Like, if that's what they want to do with their Friday night instead of going out and finding a woman at a bar or getting drunk at home watching, I Love Lucy reruns or whatever the hell it is. If they want to do that with their life, let them. Don't give them validation for doing it by acknowledging them.
Rambo, I'm going to say something. You're cool as a motherfucker. I'm going to tell you that right now because you are 100% correct. Because, I mean, I've gotten better at it. But the only thing is that I didn't like is I got threatened to be killed, raped, gutted out.
I get that.
You know me, myself personally, I get what all you guys are saying. Demetrius, it's not like I don't. It's just I'm the type of person.
No, Demetrius, there's one thing you didn't like. Demetrius has a lot of respect. He told me for a female. And he don't like when somebody does that. So I think that's why he gets madder when somebody says something and I react to it. I think I kind of trigger him to do that.
Well, because me myself personally, when like that's what I'm saying. But the trolls are fine. Trolling doesn't bother me because I troll my girlfriend. She trolls me. It's fun.
Wait a minute, because
Rambo's right though.
You're trying to define trolling. You don't get to define trolling. You maybe get to define trolling with your girlfriend and vice versa, both of y'all two together, but you don't get to define trolling for everybody. Trolling has no rules. Some people control, without. Well, I mean, like I said, to me, I think if you think the N word should not be said by anybody, well then that's a dangerous. I'm not saying that it should. Okay, hear me out before people start reacting. But if you think that, well then the word honky and cracker and all these different stereotypes or racial words shouldn't be said. You got to either ban one or ban them all. So if you don't want to ban them all, or if we can't ban them all, then don't let those words define you. Like the words have no power over you unless you give them power over you. Words are just words. Like if I called you like that, that's just that's nothing. A word is no different unless you let them identify you.
What up, Poppy 2K?
I'm crippled.
Poppy 2K's in chat.
Yeah, I'm disabled. So if somebody going, you stupid cripple, guess what? I don't identify as a cripple. It's not my identity doesn't revolve around being crippled. So it doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit what you say to me. It doesn't define me. It doesn't bother me. It's a word.
But see, myself personally, how I look at it though is the way I come from, where I grew up. I get what you guys are saying. It's not like I don't. I'm one of those people where I don't play that. I don't play people talk about disabled people. I don't like when people talk about women.
Right.
I don't like that. Like if someone comes in, hold on.
Why do you think? All right.
Hold on. I'm almost done. If like you said, Rambo, it doesn't bother you, and I totally understand that because you know how it is. But if someone in the chat, Rambo, says, "Oh, Rambo is a piece of shit, cripple, go kill yourself," I will get pissed off because I think that's fucked up. I don't care if you're trolling. I don't give a fuck if it is, because I know, like you said, trolling has no limit. But I feel as though if you want to troll, do it in a more different way. Don't talk about something that's personal to him, because I will get upset and say, "Hey, don't fucking talking to him like that." You know what I'm saying? Because what if your fucking grandma was crippled? You won't want to talk about your grandmother. You feel me?
But what you're saying right there is giving them ammunition as to how they know how to get you riled up.
Hey, Rambo and Demetrius and Ronnie and Craig. This is why I tell people when I do a stream, no banding. Let them talk their shit. They can talk their shit. I've been on live streams and I've ignored people and they've gone away. I'm learning that. I learned it the hard way. Yeah, sometimes I do address people and say some dumb shit, and I do get riled up. Rambo's right.
It happens.
No, Rambo's right. But for the most part, I've stopped that shit. I don't let people ban people. I said, let them talk their dumb shit. Because you know what? They look stupid.
Right. I mean, that's eventually. I mean, people look over there and most of them. If you even notice the chat, most of the chat will actually take care of those people for you.
Oh, by the way, speaking of the chat,
that does make sense.
No, the chat said they love me. I gotta say, I love you, chat. Love all y'all in the chat.
Yeah, you have, if you're doing a live stream, you have a chat for a reason. Like the chat, the people that are watching are going to if they're there to support you or to listen to what you got to say, they're going to say something to those people trolling. So I mean, just let them handle it, and like you stick with what you're entertaining.
Exactly. That's
right.
That's
See,
what
like, I'm sorry.
That's what I started doing. But I told them. But Rambo, I told them don't, because I put mods in people. Don't do it. Okay. What you can do if you want to put in a little timeout for acting stupid and say something nasty, that's one thing. But stop banning people. Other from that.
Oh yeah, I don't ban anybody from. I don't ban anybody.
No, I stopped. I made them stop that shit because you know what? It's like, oh, she can't handle it. No, anything I can handle it. I'm not the one banning your asses. I'm here talking. I ain't touching that button. They can't handle it. They don't like you talking about other people. It's them. But I told them, if they keep banning people, you're not a mod no more. I don't want you to be a mod if you're going to ban people. Because I'm not going to let somebody else control my stream.
Exactly.
And that's what Rambo's trying to say. I'm not going to do it.
Just like Rambo was saying. Just like Rambo was saying, like, you're going to have people in the chat that are going to say ignorant shit. And like you said, if Demetrius, if you are telling them, like right now, like, I don't like when people disrespect, you know, you just don't like when people disrespect people in general. And I get that. That's one of the things that set you off. We all have things that set us off individually. Rambo's may not be people trolling. His might be, you know, I don't like when I see kids, you know, abused. That might set him off. You know, we all have our different things that set us off. But like Rambo was saying, you let the chat take care of those people, because like going back to what I was saying earlier, it's really only one or two people saying vile shit. The rest of the people in the chat, they see that shit. They're not co-signing that. They're not, that's funny. They're like, no, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here, you know, blah, blah, blah. So I get where you're coming from, Demetrius, and that, you know, it makes no sense that 30-year-old, 20-year-old, I don't, you know, you're giving teens, you know, some type of leeway. Hell, I think that as a person that knows right from wrong, and that means a fucking 6 or 7-year-old, you should know that saying certain things, hurting people's feelings for a reaction isn't the way to go. But some of these people, they don't get attention at home. They don't get attention from the opposite sex. They don't get attention at work. They don't get attention wherever they're at. So they can come home, or they can be on the bus or wherever they're at, type out something, and they can get a lot of Twitter mentions, or they can get a lot of thumbs downs in their videos, or they can get a lot of comments on their Facebook, and that gives them a reason to live. That gives them a purpose. And if you are someone who let me just finish. If you're someone that affects, then I get it at the same time, but you're really just kind of giving them, you know, more reason. You're giving them life. You're giving them breath, you know, because eventually it's just like anybody. If you do something for long enough, you're not getting a response, you're going to change up. You're going to switch up. You're not going to keep doing something and not getting anything from it.
Right.
One thing I will say, I just got to say this one thing. I will say this about Grimy. Grimy's banned in a lot of my streams. And Grimy has told me time and time again, Nancy or Princess, whichever, because he uses both, responding. Leave it alone. How many times you told me that, Grimy?
Plenty of times.
Grimy has been there with me for a long time. Ass on a podcast. We've been trying for almost a year now, but we got his ass here. But He been there a long time. He comes to my streams when he can. We've talked a lot. He's been there. He knows, and he knows that I've calmed down because I used to get real crazy.
No, you calmed down a whole lot. Because I whenever I trolled you, I didn't troll you like these people did. Because I only trolled you about gaming. But I knew that I could still get a reaction from you. But that was the fun part about whenever I would come there, is getting that reaction of you. Because like it was like a blow up over some like, because you ended up getting a lot more trolling than what I did. But I'm just saying that was the fun of it, is like saying something stupid, and it wasn't nothing near as bad as what these people say.
Can I tell you something? Yeah. It probably wasn't even all that. You know what the problem was? And I'm gonna tell you all, and I'm gonna say it on air. It had to do with my parents being sick.
Yeah.
And I put that on air, and I got trolled for that. So sometimes I was very emotional about that, and I reacted to something stupid because of that. And I was
wait a minute. People were trolling you because your fucking parents were sick? And why would they troll you about that?
Don't go there. Don't go there. I'm just saying, I reacted to them when I was in a blah mood, and things weren't going right.
That's some. You have to be a really sick person to do that, though.
I had people tell. Listen, I had people tell me that when my mother almost
at that point,
died,
that's not trolling. That's being evil.
Listen, I had people. Mom was almost died. That she should die because she birthed me. You don't know what I went through. Okay, I went through a lot. My mom's doing fine. My dad's doing bad now. My mom's doing good. My dad's doing bad. He's gonna have a surgery on her birthday, and God knows if he's gonna make it. It is what it is, and I'm sure people are gonna troll me for this.
But Demetrius, okay, okay.
Just listen to what Rambo said. Please listen to Rambo.
Here's all the different type of descriptive type of people that you've given to these type of trolls that are in that chat that come in here and say these nasty things. Look how much that one comment from that nobody, just one, derailed this whole entire podcast for this long.
Right, I get you.
You see what I'm saying? Like they won. They won.
Yeah, I get it. It's gonna be. I'm trying to learn not to.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, because I see what you guys are coming from. Because I'm gonna say my little piece and I'll be done with it. Me, like I used to be. Like I said, I used to be bullied when I was growing up. So I used to get bullied so much, and I was always alone. I was always bullied as a kid. And now when I see other people getting bullied or picked on or mistreated or saying something that's shouldn't never be said, like me. If someone says something to Nancy in any kind of sexual way or something that's nowhere not appropriate to say, because I don't care if you're a man or whatever, you're coming in her chat and say, oh, I'm gonna rape Nancy, blah 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 blah, I'm gonna do this to her. I'm gonna get offended because you don't say shit like that, And same thing for you. Like if someone makes fun of you because you have your disability problem, I'm gonna defend you. You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it's because they're trolling you, and don't let it offend you. And and just move on with it.
All right, listen.
So that's what I'm trying to learn from.
All right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move on to the last thing, because you know what? Trolls took too much of our time. They ain't worth shit. And let's do a round of applause. Everybody, clap your hands in your mic. Trolls aren't worth shit. They ain't worth nothing.
My balls is worth a lot of shit.
They're right. And like Grimy knows and Rambo knows, Grimy knows. Listen, now I heard you. I'm ignoring it. Grimy knows, Rambo knows, and I'm sure Craig knows that I've calmed down a lot. And I'm getting better. I'm still going through a hard time with my parents, but I'm getting better. And that's what triggers me. If I have a bad day and I didn't sleep well, that's when they actually reach out at me, and I react, which I can't do no more. And I'm working on it. I got a lot better, and I'm even going to get better. So that's something, Demetrius, you need to work on. And he's only trying to help you. I know Rambo for a while now. He only trying to help you.
Yeah,
and just like Grimy, I've known Grimy for a long time, and all he ever did was try to help me when it came to people mess with me. And he'll tell you that from day one. Princess, Don't talk to them. Leave them alone. Shut up. Be quiet. You know, I mean, he would say whatever he could just to get me to shut up and leave him alone. And I'm getting better at it. So we're gonna help you with that, okay? But we're gonna move on to the last thing for the night because we're working on over 2 hours now, guys. We did good tonight, but trolls don't need that. Trolls don't need those responses. The last thing is I'm gonna ask each one of you, what will blow you out of the motherfucking water at E3 if you hear it? We're going to start out with you, Demetrius. Go ahead. What will blow you out of the water that you're going to hear at E3?
Scorpio.
Would you stop?
Well, as for me, what's going to blow me out the water is what is there supposed to be showing at E3 besides Scorpio? Really, just Scorpio. As far as the Sony side, I don't know what Sony's really going to be showing, but this is Detroit probably become unhuman, and then you may see God. Hopefully, they may show some more God of War stuff. I'm really curious because I want them to talk more about God of War because they talked about it last year, and we haven't heard any updates about it or nothing. So I don't know about God of War, but hopefully Sony tease about God of War. Hopefully, we see some Assassin's Creed Empire at E3 because I'm really looking forward to that. And besides,
it can be on any platform. It could be Nintendo. It could be Xbox. It could be PlayStation.
Do not say Nintendo to me.
Dan, shut up! I didn't finish. It could be PC as well. What is going to blow you away about E3? What would be something, even just one thing, that would be like, my God? What would do that to you?
When I seen Hellblade, I said, "Oh my God!" When I seen Hellblade, and that's going to blow me away. I'm definitely getting that on PC. I cannot get that on console. They showed a couple minutes of gameplay of Hellblade. You guys heard of Hellblade, right?
Hell yeah, we heard of Hellblade.
Okay. Okay. The graphics look so fucking good.
Non-gamers in here. We're a gaming community. What are you talking about?
I'm just messing with you. But yeah, I saw they had some gameplay of it on PC, and the game looks so good on PC. I have to get it on there. I have no choice. And and besides that, Scorpio.
All right, whatever. All right, Grimy, what's gonna? I'm not gonna listen to him because he acting a fool now. Don't make you tell him your new phrase now. All right, your new catchphrase. Let's not go there. But anyway, Grimy. What? No, you can't. So go to hell. Anyway, Grimy, what would blow you away at E3? Grimy, what's gonna blow you away? It's something you heard at E3. What would blow you out of the water at E3?
Scorpio.
It don't matter where it's at. Would you shut up about the Scorpio? It's Grimy's time to talk. Done.
Let's see. No, the only thing that I really wanted that would blow me out of the water are actual release dates. And I'm talking out if they tell me that Red Dead is really going to be available in 2017, that will blow me away because I don't think it is. If they tell me I'm finally going to be able to play Crackdown in 2017, that will blow me away. Hellblade, I agree with Demetrius. Is a very, I'm very intrigued by that. All of the PlayStation, the shit that we've seen over the last few years, I just want release dates. I just want release dates. But if there's one thing that if they were to surprise me with, if they were to tell me that they are working on,
you went out.
You went out. You went out as soon as you said working on.
Yeah, and I thought the chat disconnected when you did that.
Working. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you good. Damn it,
working on the next Elder Scrolls. Bethesda says that you'll get the next fucking whatever it is, not that fucking online shit that they put out a couple years ago, but the follow-up to Skyrim. Then I will
You're not gonna
cry
see that.
like fucking BG.
I'm not going to interrupt you because I'm not. I don't. I just want to say this one thing.
Because you had your time.
I'm trying to respond to his
cyber whooping time. Cyber whooping.
No. I'm trying to respond to his.
But you said you weren't going to interrupting him by interrupting him. I'm just pointing that out. Just
okay, hold on.
Now, if you're gonna say that I'm not gonna see that at E3, I'm not planning on it. I'm just saying if they were to tease something about it, it would blow me away.
Right. That's the question. What would blow you away? It's you don't have to respond to what would blow them away. Demetrius, it's not a response thing. It's what would blow somebody away. Okay? Now, I'm gonna do me. What will blow me away? Microsoft put shit out there, but they actually keep their dates and not cancel them. That will blow me away. Don't cancel them. That'll blow me away. But anyway, we're gonna go on to Craig. Craig, what will blow you away?
Well, very quickly, a Donkey Kong game for Nintendo, a SOCOM Navy SEALs game for Sony, and a Splinter Cell game for Microsoft.
Okay. All right. Nice. Splinter Cell for Microsoft. All right. It may be hard to do, but anyway. Rambo.
What would blow me? A Wolfenstein game.
Wolfenstein. Nice.
I would love to have another one.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about that. Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, listen, we're going to round this up. We've been over 2.5 hours. And Irish podcast, I don't remember going over 2.5 hours. But we're over that. But we're going to do our outros now. Before I do that, I want to say, unfortunately, Porter Rock had to leave early. Y'all know he's in the military. Shit comes up. Things go on. He got kids, too. Unfortunately, the poor man had to do a 9-mile hike today, and his knees are fucked up. But I want to say that, guys, please go and check out his shit. Check out his podcast on Wednesdays, which I'm a permanent member of. 60 Frames, No Lag podcast on Wednesdays, 7 Eastern Standard Time. He's got special guests. They can't make it, then it's at 8, but generally it's at 7. We're going to do our outros. We'll start with you. You know what? We're going to start out with our guest. We're going to do it backwards. We're going to start out with our guest that finally showed up after a goddamn year. Mr. Grimy. Mr. Grimy, do your outros. Tell people if you've got shit where they can watch you or do shit. Tell them where to find you. Tell them about you. Whatever you want to say.
I just thank you for letting me come on. It was a good conversation. I listen to podcasts. I'm pretty aware of everybody on here, but I don't really make any content. I've been thinking about it, but if I ever do, my YouTube is Grimy314. Only thing you'll see right now is just all the shit that I like and fucking sub to. But I'm on Twitter a lot, Grimy314 over there. Xbox, PlayStation, gamer tag. Well, my gamer tag and PSN is Sweet Jones 314 on both consoles. So if you want to add me, you can game up or whatever. But once again, thank you, and you guys have a good night.
Right. And Grimy, I want to thank you for coming, and you're welcome back anytime you're available.
For sure.
Okay. Demetrius, go ahead, do your outro.
Hey everybody, this is the King of Gods here, Lords of Eclipse. Make sure you remember that. I'm the king of everything, so make sure you keep that in mind. So that's my new slogan.
That shit funny to me.
Whatever. Hey, it's better than that donkey fucker shit I did a long time ago. So yeah. I'm gonna stick to King of Gods, and everyone start calling me King now, so I feel good. Anyways, everyone know where to find me, Lords of Eclipse.
Wait, I got a question. You know the kings stink, right? They don't wash. They never did. So,
yeah, well, not this king. I take a shower, so yeah. My balls don't stink, if you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, Lords of Eclipse, everybody. Damn, girl, let me do my fucking outro, Nancy. Shit.
No, you interrupt everybody else. I'm interrupt you. And I told y'all it was a payback time, so now you got it. Go ahead. Go to your outro.
Oh, sorry about that, Jordan, for interrupting you. I know that I was just trying to say something real quick. What I was trying to say was the guy from Bethesda was, because he did an interview with Fallout 4, and they were saying they're not going to do I was trying to tell him something quick. Fuck. Damn
Let me
it.
get some information, Nancy. Goddamn.
Yeah, like I was trying to give him
You
some.
need to shut up.
That
I'm gonna
there,
stop with your ass too, and you're gonna love it.
Nancy,
may not
tell
do
your man to holler at me after the podcast.
Whatever.
they may not do a Elder Scrolls 6 until about 2019 or 2020, so that's what they're thinking about doing that because they're working on other projects too with Bethesda is. So, anyways, like everybody, this is Lords of Eclipse, King of Gods. You know where to find me. Lords of Eclipse is my YouTube. DGK_assassin_15 is my PSN. Lords of Eclipse is my Xbox. Veil of Elysium is my PC gamer tag, or you want to call it. So you guys can go ahead and add me on there, and but yeah, that's it.
Then we got next up Craig Harris, who made it back.
Yeah, thanks for the vine, Nancy. I'm Craig Harris. Craig Harris Talks Games on YouTube. And I'd like to say very quickly, thanks for all the panel. It was a lively conversation. And rest in peace, Mass Effect. So that's about all I got. And thanks for the invite.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime, Craig, you're welcome here. You just don't show your ass up.
What happened?
Hey, like Tommy's welcome anytime. You don't show his ass up either. So there you go. But anyway, last but not least, one of the members of our podcast is Rambo, Rambling Rambo. Go for it.
That's Rambo with Rambo's Corner. You can follow me on Twitter at Rambo's Corner, YouTube Rambo's Corner. My PSN and Xbox Live they're all on my Twitter or my YouTube channel, so you can go check it out there if you want to. If you want to hit me up for a friend request. Other than that, guys, just be looking forward. I'm looking forward to getting to E3 as quickly as possible. I want to be able to see what's going on and kind of know for sure what to expect.
I agree with you on that. And last but not least, you got the TitanFallPrincess. And you know who I am. You know where to find me all the time. Because you know why? Because you all love me. And guess what? Do me a favor, guys. Because you love me, channels, follow them, see what they got. Give them the mad love too, all right? I appreciate you all. I thank you all for coming tonight. And listen, don't forget, check me out on Wednesdays on Porter Rock's podcast, 60 frames, no lag. And he's here all the time, usually. Unfortunately, I had to leave early. I don't know, maybe some Marine shit. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But check out everybody's channel. Follow them, okay? And give everybody that mad love like you give to the princess. You love me? You gotta love them too. Because they give you the entertainment and the news that you deserve. We're out of here. Later.